Okay. Let's do it. We are live. Bonjour, mes amis. Je m'appelle Bahzad.
And I'm Risa.
And we are here streaming live from the intergalactic planetary space station, Earth station, Terra station. Streaming live from Yokohama, Japan. We're here to bring you all the raw denim news, previews, information, questions answered. Anything you could want to know about raw denim is going to be answered in this live stream right here. So welcome, everybody. You guys are what make this live stream happen. I'm happy to have you here. It is Saturday morning here in Japan. Friday evening for many of you. Black Friday evening for many of you. We hope you're having a good one out there. Black Friday. It's I don't know why it just literally blanked from my brain until you said that to me. It shocked it back into my head that it is Black Friday.
Well, you know, when we're working, that's. But when we go to sleep, it's also like this year we're not in Montreal.
Right.
Like, you know, ready to go, like spend the day in the warehouse.
Right.
So it's a little different feeling.
This is like our second year that we didn't do a Black Friday. We weren't there last year.
We weren't there last year, but it's many years.
No, 2 years. 2 years ago we were there.
2 years ago we were there, but before that we weren't there.
We were in COVID jail.
Right.
We had to do, so we came back to Canada so we could work the Black Friday, but we had to do 2 weeks in our apartment.
What a waste over 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
2 weeks in, like,
14 days, could not leave the house.
We left our comfortable home for like 4 weeks.
Yeah. But
2 of the weeks we had to,
anyways.
It's insane.
It is what it is. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Okay, well, everybody, we're going to check in with the chat. I'm just going to fix up the lighting situation here. Bam. Isn't that better? Okay, you might see a few lighting adjustments during the live stream, but that's just the way we are. We work with what we got. We don't have a fancy studio or anything, but we do have fancy information. Let's check in with the chat, everybody. Sniff Spoon with a good question. Right off the bat. Is one-wash denim still considered raw denim? There has been a debate recently, and I've seen a lot of different opinions.
I like how like you went right to the one of the most controversial questions. No, hey.
Let me tell you,
it's great.
There is no debate because this is the answer, and the answer is yes. One-wash denim is considered raw denim.
It is like it's not the true sense of the word, but I think raw denim as a culture is the things that is represented as raw denim, and that definitely includes one wash. Yeah. Because
for me, a wash is a distress wash, a vintage wash, something that takes the jeans that makes them artificially look worn.
Right.
A one wash maintains all the indigo that's in the denim, pretty much all of it, removes the starch so that they're not as crispy.
Yeah.
The jeans will still fade. They're going to operate the same way you would. It's like if you were to think about it this way, 100 years ago, 120 years ago, jeans came in one form. They were unsanforized because even the word sanforized didn't exist. They were a trouser that shrank. So what would you do? You'd buy them at the local, general store, and you'd soak them, and they'd shrink, and then you'd wear them. That's basically what a one wash is. Maybe with a little bit more water, but that's what it is.
I agree with that because it's like, still to this day, a lot of people buy raw denim, completely raw, and soak them before they wear it. It doesn't, magically change the concept of these products.
Yes. And if you're gonna make the argument that one wash isn't raw denim, then you would have to then go even further and say that sanforized denim is not raw denim, or singed denim, or any of these other finishing processes that go on the fabric would make it not raw. If you want like raw, you'd have to be pure loom state. Right off the loom, that's it. Nothing touches it after. I don't agree with that sentiment.
I mean, you know, to be fair, there is a significant difference between like.
But is loom state? Well, the question isn't like what is it. That is what loom state denim is to me, not what raw denim is. Right. Raw denim is, you know, an indigo jean that hasn't been pre-washed, pre-processed in a way to make it look artificially worn in.
I do think that, like, the word raw denim, like, there should be a word that differentiates denim that's sun-frized but not washed. Because we do have a word for one wash. We do have we should have another word, and that's
we've got loom state, we've got one wash, and then that middle zone, which
is raw denim. But like again, like when you're talking about very specific, if you're talking about the difference between one wash and loom state, and you know sun-frized but not washed, then there's the word
raw sun-frized.
But at the same time, it's just like, you know, like when we're talking about in general as a culture, wash gets to sit on the same table as, you know, as the non-washed.
Yeah, I suppose you're right, and that's maybe where there's some confusion. But the bottom line is one wash is raw.
Yeah.
Anybody wants to challenge me on that, I will fight you.
And they're way more raw than distressed jeans. Like, distressed jeans are completely separate group of friends. Like, one wash guy doesn't belong in that group.
I'm not talking about like bleach wash or like, you know, any of these washes that are gonna
like stone wash. Even
that's not raw. But just some water and a dry, that's raw. That's still raw to me. And it is the law. It is the law. You've heard it here. Okay, well, hopefully everybody enjoys that take. Somebody writes, Addict Geography, is that an oscilloscope under the desk? That is a cassette deck. That is a cassette deck that doesn't operate so well. I just don't know what to do with it because I like the way it looks. But, yeah, it is not an oscilloscope.
Yeah, I was thinking of something.
Oscilloscopes?
No.
Chen Yip So is in the house. Hello from Montreal. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for visiting Tate and Yoko, and I'm glad you're able to get the jacket. I just saw it on Instagram. Fantastic. MIJ Fades, New Jersey in the house. MIJ 11s today. Good choice, my friend. And we've got the Raven in from SoCal. I didn't do the shout outs to where everyone's tuning in from.
We went right into
right deep. Okay. Austin, hello from Chicago, but usually from Colorado. Well, I hope you're having some kind of Thanksgiving get together, enjoying friends and family and food.
Thanksgiving.
Right, American Thanksgiving. Nick Carpenter, Nick from Shot NYC, checking in, wearing the Okayama Spirit Forward. Good to see you, Nick. Always glad, always a pleasure to have you here in the chat. Pedro writes, BD, I did that one, something. He's responded to BD for something. BD, the producer's here. It must be. BD writes, for some reason, I was up at 3 a.m. on the unofficial first day of the sale, got the snow weird guy, and went back to sleep. Well, thank you very much. Speaking of... Okay, holy moly! Can I just say that you guys were very enthusiastic for that secret sale. I could not believe, like, by 8 a.m. we already were hitting like Black Friday numbers from last year, and I'm like, I didn't even announce. Like, to be fair, I announced it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I didn't announce it on our email blast, and I know, you know, we have our subscribers on YouTube. I think we're at like 12,000 now or something like that. Our email subscriber list is 12 years old, so you can imagine how many more people are on our email subscriber list. There's a lot. So, and I know they don't all subscribe to the channel. So,
yeah,
you know, this is the devoted crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's amazing. It's like very concentrated number of like real, you know, people who are ready to buy, ready to shop for Black Friday.
And you made Wednesday the 22nd just a tremendous day. The like the Matsuri, the snowy, all that stuff was just flying.
Matsuri disappeared.
Wow. Wowie
this
zowie.
Just kind of goes to show you that like crazy stuff.
Yeah,
it's still very popular.
It sure is.
We gotta make more.
Yeah, there's really two lessons from this. Is that, you know, this year we've seen a lot of growth, you know, as a business, and at the start of the year we did not. At the start of the year, things were looking little weird, right?
That's when everybody was made aware of the
financial situation of the world. So the world was looking scary. Sales were looking like, what is happening? Because we were seeing big dips, and we weren't really sure what was going on, you know. But we just, you know, we kept doing what we were doing, and slowly but surely, business started to ramp back up again. You know, I think the introduction of This Week at Tate and Yoko has helped reach, you know, it just helped broaden our reach. Now there's more programming out there for people who, you know, want to engage with our content.
I also think that's like, you know, because like, you know, you guys now here are watching live stream, but like, you know, live stream is harder to commit to. It's 2 hours long, and you know, we don't have an agenda. We're just, you know, like rambling on for 2 hours. But I think having that information available, like, you know, just the YouTube subscriber, you know, sale, pre-sale kind of thing available in those little Tate and Yoko videos, I think it definitely brought in more people.
Right.
If it was just the live stream talk, maybe less people were aware.
Right. So that certainly helped. And then what else was I going to say? The crazy fabrics.
Right.
Yeah. Clearly, you know, sometimes I was hesitant, you know, and sometimes in the past to go like full, you know, like we make crazy stuff, but sometimes it's like, is
it too out there?
Is it too out there?
Yeah.
To be fair, I'm still going to be a little reserved, because sometimes it's like you introduce something that's really out there, and then you've satiated, if that's even a word. You've the need that people have had for that item has been, you know, fulfilled.
Yeah, we can't keep like feeding that, like, you know, because I think it's still a smaller audience.
Right.
But it is important to go back to that, like, that well every now and then.
Right. So anyhow, there's a lot of learning lessons from us from this event. I would say more so than any other, you know, Black Friday or a thing before, because I feel like I've done these secret sales before, but this one really...
I feel like you always do it. You always say, like, oh, we're going to turn it all on the
just
day
a little bit before.
Yeah.
Right.
But, I mean, Black Friday is a big one.
Right.
But we also, like, the interesting special products, and, like, bunch of them, I think it really helped.
Right. Jep, I think, you know what? You know, I can already see how we can attest all of our business success and growth this year. Jap27 writes, I got 5 pairs during the secret sale. Thank you. That's
5 pairs.
I hope
That's a lot of pairs of jeans to wear.
Please enjoy them and wear them when you can.
You're set for, like, I don't know, at least 2 years.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna go into some questions here. Okay, pending new name writes, I 100% agree with you in the rant. Love my Tempe washed King of Lords. Well, there you go. And thank you so much for agreeing with me. You've made the right choice. Joey Decay, haha, that's funny. I have the same thing, a cassette deck that doesn't quite work right, but I just love the way it looks. So it's sitting on my stereo set. Joey, I love, among my many collections, old electronics is one of them, and sometimes they don't work, And sometimes I think, hey, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to learn to fix this. I never do.
It's a fun project.
I never do.
You always get frustrated and then get upset.
Yeah, I really get. I'm just. Sometimes I want to throw the thing off the balcony. I don't, because that would be wrong. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not good with it. Small components, fixing things.
But to be fair, because those are the things that you don't need, you know.
Yeah, it's true. You guys want to see something cool that I got the other day? Just gotta show it. Oh yeah.
I was just thinking if you have showed it off on the live stream before. Yeah, so we have a house full of not working electronics. But
so for some reason I like tube TVs. I just love them. But the problem with them is that they take up way too much space, so I can't have too many of them.
So heavy too. Have you
around.
ever tried to lift them?
Not fun. But the other day I found this thing. It is a Seiko, made by Seiko, and it works. It's not a tube TV. It's actually an LCD TV from 1988. Hold on. It says 1988 here somewhere. There we go, on the back. And it technically works, except that there's no, antenna reception anymore. But there is a video input here. So I hooked up a Dreamcast to this, and it works. And it does really poor quality video.
Tiny.
But screen. I can play Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on this.
You can't even see it.
I couldn't imagine. So anyhow, I thought this was really, really neat. And it runs on batteries, so I don't need to plug it in anywhere. And we found it for like $4.
Something like that.
Just the best.
It was in literally our right in front of our home. There's a
secondhand shop. Store,
and we just browse every now and then, almost at least twice a week. And then we're in the bin. There's section of just junks.
Yeah.
That they sell for almost nothing. And I just always walk by it. I never go through it. But he stops, every time he stops and browses the surface level. Yeah. So I was waiting for him to be done, and he's just that was the happiest he was in
such a long. Look at this thing. It's a Seiko.
I think that
mini TV.
I think this is finding this was the highlight of your 2023.
I just feel like in 1988, if you were a guy who had an LCD, I feel like Michael Scott when he brought everyone home for the dinner party and he's looking at his LCD screen TV.
Mm-hmm. He was very proud.
But that was 2006 or 7, right? This was 1988. How proud would you have been to be the office executive guy, to have a little TV on your yeah. I got a TV on my desk, boys. Right?
I wonder if it was a fancy guy's thing. I think it was more of if you were, a truck driver or
addicted to horse racing?
Yes.
Maybe.
Those guys who would have. There was that things.
Hand TVs?
Yeah, hand TVs or hand radios. Yeah, those are just.
Nicholas, watching the Yankees game on that little TV, LOL. Dude, I used to have remember the Sega Game Gear? So it was like a Game Boy, but it was a little bit bigger, and it was a full color screen, and they had an adapter that it would make it a TV tuner, so you could watch TV. Mm-hmm. And me and my brother sometimes would watch Toronto Maple Leaf. We would watch hockey games and all that thing. At night, my mom was like, "Oh, you gotta go to sleep." And we're like, "All right, we got this tiny little TV," or we'd hook up our Super Nintendo sometimes to it and play Street Fighter through the TV tuner on the Game Gear, all in 1992. It's great times. James Gidding, that TV has a Zoolander cell phone energy. It sure does. It's
kind of it's in great condition too.
Yeah.
All the button text are not worn off yet.
No, it's perfect.
It's probably never been really used on the daily. It was sitting in somebody's.
Some executive got it and he's like, It's an executive. He was like, I don't need that. I got a bigger TV. Now it's mine, all mine, from 1988 to 2023. Okay. BD writes, this is a good one. Bahzad and Risa, can you tell us the true Snowy ran away story? Brandon and Terry have teased it on the episode of Tate.
Oh, yes.
It's a good, this is a
long story.
It's a long story. It's a good story. So for those of you who picked up the Snowy selvage, you know that it's named after our beloved cat, Snowy. And yeah, they both Terry and Brandon talked about how Snowy once ran away.
So that was in 2019.
2019.
We were still living in Canada, and we took we were going to Japan for a business trip, and we went there a couple days before Brandon came to meet us. Yeah, was going to join us just to see my family and hang out. And like maybe 2 days in, 3 days in.
Yeah, so we had brought our cats, both Cat and Snowy, to one of our friends' homes to babysit. And, it was fun. It was, we didn't think anything of it. And anyhow, they had cats. They knew how to take care of cats. Yes. It was no problem. So two days into the trip, we get a call. Like, kind of late night, and I'm like, this is odd. Like, why am I getting a call? And they're like, Snowy's jumped out of our window.
Second floor
condominium window. Very high up, and has run. I think what had happened was he was, like a window was open, and he was just kind of exploring, and then our friend, he saw him, and then Snowy panicked and jumped out the window. And because it's not like a house or a home, there wasn't really a place for him to like get back in. So
he went, the friend who was watching, who saw him jump, he went downstairs, and he was in that same alley off of the same window, but I think he was panicking still. And then when Snowy saw our friend coming to get him, he panicked and ran away. So he was there for probably a minute while a friend just ran down the stairs. So I think it was all panic.
Right.
It wasn't like he was trying to run away.
Right. So Risa and I, we get the call, and we're like, okay, that's not great. And then we're contemplating what we should do at this point. And by the end of the evening, we decide we gotta go home and we gotta go find Snowy. So we basically get on the next flight. We're probably only 48 hours into being in Japan, and we got on the next flight home.
Yeah, and told Brandon, sorry, we're not gonna be here when you get here. You gotta do all the meetings by yourself.
Yeah, which he did. He managed. But we got home. And we went to work. Hold on, I just want to fix the color here a little bit.
So we landed, we went straight to our friend's apartment, and we started searching. Yeah, and it wasn't in the same area of Montreal. So we were just kind of, they let us stay there. It was I don't know. The first
night was hard, because we were all very sad. But we get there. There's four of us, Risa and me and my friends, and my friends are a couple, and we go down every alley, every path, and we're all out. We're kind of just circling the area.
So on the way to get there, we're researching how to find lost cats, escaped cats. And they all the articles said that the cats would stay within a very close proximity of where your home was.
Yeah.
Unless they're trying to get to somewhere, but it's very rare that they always stay within the whatever.
Right.
So we're just it has to be around this block.
Yeah.
He doesn't go that far.
Right.
And
so
we were focusing on that search.
So we would basically every hour, even just nonstop, walk up and down that block, and then you start to realize and learn all the patterns of cats. You know, sunrise, sunset. That's when they come out the most. During the day, they're usually pretty hidden. You're not going to find them. And then as we circled the block, we basically learned that there were a lot of cats on these blocks.
In that area, yeah.
Just a tremendous amount of them. And we practically documented every cat. We internally, like between us, we had named every cat. So it was like, oh, who did you see today? Or, you know, oh, I was walking here this time, I saw such and such and such and such. So we knew which cats were in, like, which areas, how far they would go. We really did a good job of documenting this. And we were going out, because our friends lived in that area. They would go out in the mornings. And Risa and I, after work, you know, we would go out and we would search in the evenings. And we had printed out, I would say, thousands of flyers.
Yeah. We started off with hundreds, but then, like, we're just kind of, we're plastering, like,
literally every, like, phone pole was covered.
And also we would have, like, smaller ones to give it to people, especially people who are walking their dogs or, like, clearly people who live in the area. We would put it in their mailbox and stuff like that.
Yeah. We handed out thousands of flyers. Even the posters that we put up on the like light posts and things like that, we put them in like a plastic sheet, and then we either stapled it or taped it to the pole. Like, you could not miss this flyer if you lived in that area of Montreal.
Was so famous in that area for a while.
Yeah,
and you know, we would just walk around in the alleys, because you know that's where the cats stay. Like, they're not in the main street walking around really. So we would walk around in the alleyways, and people would recognize us. And you know, if they were like, they saw us like walking out with the flashlights and like, you know, calling out names, like they would be like, "Oh, you're looking for that cat, huh?"
Yeah, We, a few things I learned. You know, we got some like high powered flashlights, which I thought was definitely very helpful. Another thing that I found very interesting about Montreal was the amount of people's backyards we had just seemingly went through with flashlights in the middle of the night. Nobody called the cops on us. Not even one time. We were like, not that we were digging through people's backyards, but like, you know, we were like pointing flashlights, looking underneath their porches for a while. And this...
I tried not to wear all black because that looks very suspicious. You know, we tried to make ourselves a little
friendly
brighter.
Looking. So this continued. So we circled basically the one kind of block radius around where our friend lived.
But because of the posters everywhere, people were calling us too.
Yeah.
So like, if there was a sighting, like even if it's, you know, like 5 blocks away, which we thought we would never really have to search,
we would go,
and then like that area kind of kept getting bigger and bigger.
So our search area expanded because we would get calls, but also at one point we just kind of felt like we had really worked this area, right? So once we had worked an area extensively, you know, a couple, 3, 4, 5 days, we're like, okay, he's probably not here, let's move on to the next block. Or like we would, anyways, our path grew. And our searches every day got longer and longer and longer.
Another thing we did, I just remembered, was like we would record ourselves calling for Snowy. Like, Snowy, come here. In our voices. And have that like blast in the like speaker from their our friend's balcony. So that he can
would
like
play all night.
Which is like probably really annoying.
Maybe a little bit.
Neighbors.
But we tried everything, and this went on for weeks. So night after night, we'd be out, no snowy sighting. But, you know, we were learning a lot every night. We even found, you know, we were part of, like, some online, like, on Facebook, local community, like, lost cat groups, and we had ended up finding other people's cats. Which I thought was pretty amazing. Like we
captured actually one cat that was like lost.
So we were helping in that respect. And And, you know,
and other people were helping
yeah.
too. Like there would be people, like you know, there was a foster mom for Snowy back in the days.
Yeah,
like,
she came out
and she helped us search.
Genevieve, she was very nice.
And she had like, so during this time, like she was very good at like, you know, she's worked the searches before. So unfortunately, like, you know, like we couldn't find him while she was around, but she had all the like tips for, you know, okay, like you get well, you know, you get a leash. So if you see him and capture him, you at least
leash him.
Leash him on the spot. Also, like we rented thing like a cage, like a capture cage. So like where you put, you know, a food or whatever in the back. If a cat goes in, it go close so it doesn't come out. That kind of
a humane trap.
Trap from SPCA. They were like, I guess you had to pay a little, but like it was like a service they had.
Yeah, they were very helpful. Right. So, as our search expanded, you know, we go out every night and, you know, sometimes be lucky. Well, most nights were unlucky. In fact, for the first 28 nights, no sighting of Snowy at all. You know, some people thought they might have seen him here and there, but like the sightings were so kind of far off that maybe it was some other cats. And, you know, people would say, oh, I think I saw him over here. We'd go out there and we would find the cat that would look like Snowy.
Gray, stripy cat, but, you know, obviously not Snowy.
Yeah.
But, like, there were times where it's like, is that Snowy?
Yeah.
Like, am I forgetting something?
Yeah.
Like, you know, but then 28th day, 29th day?
Yeah. I made the sighting. So we were basically finishing up for the night, and because we had, I guess, become friendly with so many of the local cats, we would often leave treats or things like that. So there was one alleyway that we would go down that was across the street from where our friends lived, and there was one particular house that there was always a lot of cats, and we liked some of the like local cats around there. So I'm like, well, before we go, let's go say goodbye to, you know, we named them Muffin.
Muffin was so cute.
Muffin was great. And so we went down there to go bring some snacks, and I looked through the fence of the house that usually has a ton of cats in the back. And that house always had a cat that we called Fake Snowy, because it looked just like Snowy, but one of his ears was like clipped or something like that. And so it was obviously very easy to tell apart. But I looked through the slats of his fence, and sitting on top of the guy's, like, he had some stairs, was Snowy. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, I look right in his eyes, and he looks right in my eyes. And I'm like, I look at you, I look at our friends, I'm like, Snowy's right there. And you're like, no. I'm like, yeah. And then we look, and they're like, yes. And then as soon as we're all kind of like, there he is, he bolts around the house.
Yeah.
And
so
then
there's like we were in the alleyway, and there was the thing to go through to the
front of the house. Yeah.
Front way. And then I saw him go down like underneath another house's porch.
Yeah.
So there was just like, you don't even see if there's any space down there, but he knew he just like went down there and hide. And he would peek his like, head out, you know, every now and then, but like we just could not
get him out. And this was like, I would say by the time we got under the porch, it might have been like 7 or 8 p.m. Like the sun was going down. This was summertime. Might have May or something like that. So it wasn't
it was May, yeah.
Yeah. And sun is going down, and the homeowner isn't here, and we're just like, okay, what do we do? Because we're just sitting like right outside the house, and at one point I'm just like, all right, I'm trying to like dig my hand underneath the guy's porch, and we're just waiting. At one point we were all just sitting on his porch and just waiting on some guy's house, and Snowy was not coming out, and I was like there came a point where like we just wouldn't see him pop his head through. We're like, did he escape? Did he get around somehow? We didn't know. And, you know, by this time, I think midnight had come around, and we're like...
We had another cat. Caterpie was at home.
Yeah,
so
we're like, we have to call it for the night. But we know the area now. Now we know the area. And once we zoomed in on the area, and, like, all the people on that block knew we were looking for him. You know, there was one one family, they had like a it was like a 3 or 4 story apartment building, and their balcony faced like directly into the alleyway, and they're like, yeah, come up here. And like we'd be up on their balcony, like watching out on the street.
And our friend had a car, so sometimes like they would let us like sit in the car and like stake out. Like
we were there till like 2 or 3 a.m. And one night, that particular night when we were in the car, Snowy, because we were parked on the street side, Snowy walked in front of that house with the porch, and he was like feet away from us. And I opened the car door, boom, he runs out. He just runs. He bolts it.
Yeah, he's in this wild mood. Yeah. One night, or early morning, because like our friends were doing the morning like search. So one of our friends, she's so snowy.
Oh,
just,
she took
like,
a picture of him
on the port, like the same street. She took a picture of him. It was clearly snowy, and apparently he was meowing for no reason. And street cats don't usually do that. So like she was just like really slowly going there, and she's been taking care of him. So like you would think that like
she was familiar.
Yeah, but as she got close enough to like touch him. But then he
like bit her in
her hand, like so. It was, and he never bites.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where he was in the like wild mode, and he wasn't like a house cat anymore.
So we're here. We're making snowy sightings. You know, it would be like by the time we saw him that first night, we were basically seeing him maybe once every other day. Like we were seeing him. We knew he was here. We were zoning in on him, and then finally we get the call. And one guy who lives in that same back alley, another house just maybe 20 meters away from the other house where he was hanging out, the guy's like, my dog's been barking at my deck all day.
Backyard deck.
And he's like, I knew something was under here, so he had a beautiful deck, but he takes out his saw, and he saws into his deck, and he sees Snowy's underneath his deck.
Yeah, and because he received the flyers in the mailbox.
No, he said I handed it to him.
Oh, handed him. And so he knew that it was the cat that we're looking for. And at that point, we were just like hanging out, like this group of 4, like hanging out all day, every day.
Right. So he called our friend, because our friend lived across the street. Mm-hmm. He was over there. It was like right around the end of day for us working anyways when we get the call. So we go down to his house, and we're like, all right. So we go to his porch, and I see Snowy. He's like poking his head up, and at one point, like, I'm feeding him snacks out of my hand, and this is like the first time I've touched Snowy in weeks.
So this is the 38th day, I think.
Yeah.
37th, 38th.
And then we're at his house from, again, like 7 to like midnight. And Snowy just is not coming.
This guy
out.
like let us like order pizza. Like
he was such a nice guy.
Yeah, he was so nice. But we couldn't spend the night there, obviously.
Yeah. So what we did was we closed up the hole, and around his deck we covered every single inch so that there was no escape except for the trap. So we put the trap at the only hole, and then we're like, we got him. There's no escape. He's only got one way out. And he's going to get hungry. There's food in the trap. He's going for the food. We go home for the night. And, 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, our friends give us the call. There's a little video of, like, Snowy in the cage meowing. He's like, look what I got. And he was able to capture him. Brought him home. We went over there. He was, in the bedroom of our friend's apartment, just like his normal self, like nothing had happened.
Except that he lost a third of his weight.
Yeah, he lost some weight.
Very skinny.
Yeah. To be fair, he's a little chubby.
Yeah.
But anyhow, you don't want to lose too much weight. We took him to the vet. The vet was like, no, he's fine. He'll gain his weight back. Gave him some extra, just precautionary shots, and he was.
And we brought him home.
Yeah.
And the other cat, Caterpie.
Yeah.
Was like hissing at him.
Yeah.
I don't think it's because she didn't recognize him. I think she was mad at him. because like he took us away for like 40 days. Yeah. But Snowy was just like, oh, it's my home.
Yeah.
Just
no
change.
Yeah, he's like, I had a little adventure and now I'm back. And so it was a very tumultuous time for us. That's a 10-cent word.
We were walking a lot.
Yeah.
We're not eating dinners.
No.
We did not have time to eat dinners.
It was
so we lost a lot of weight.
Yeah. I would say that the McDonald's coffee up the street was very we made good friends with that coffee, I'll tell you that much. But yeah. And
there were times we got into a fight with neighbors. Like, it was just very interesting times.
There was one neighbor who didn't like us walking by his house all the time, and I was like, okay, sorry, and one of our other friend was like, dude, it's the sidewalk. There's he was not having it.
It's public place.
And so and there were people who were like, see us on the street looking, and they're like, give up, man. They're just like, they're like, we see you out here every day.
It's gone. The cat's gone. And it's like, no, he's not.
Yeah. And
coming back. There were times that it was, negative thought would come into our heads, but
right.
It was very helpful to have 4 of us looking for him. Obviously from just being able to cover more areas and time zone, but not time zone, but times. But also just to kind of keep us all in the same on track and thinking positive.
But we all worked together. We stayed between our friend group. We all stayed positive, and we knew we were going to come to this ending.
And even when we were walking and looking for him and haven't seen him in weeks, we would talk about, like, we should document this. This would be a good documentary. And, but then we were just, like, realistic side of us would get it. It's like, wait, but if we don't find him, like, this is just the most depressing documentary ever. Right.
But we did. And we worked hard. It was maybe the hardest thing that we ever had to do.
Probably. Yeah,
it was mentally it was straining, and physically just out there every single day.
Yeah. While going to work every day also.
Yeah, it was a lot. But we did it, and I can assure you, if you guys ever lose your cat, I can tell you exactly.
Yeah.
We tried everything that you could possibly read about. We did it. We tried it. We know what works. We know what doesn't work.
Yeah. And how to prepare for, like, negative things that's going to happen. Like, we had, like, prank calls.
Yeah. One person prank called us and was like...
I think more than one because I wasn't getting all of it. But the one call that I got, I was just, like, that still gets to me. It was very infuriating. Yeah.
It was like, oh, we have your cat and you're not getting it back. Ha, 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 ha. Like, that kind of nonsense. That was... To whomever did that, if hot coals were to somehow enter all of your orifices, that would be too kind. That would be my... If I could have a Christmas wish, it would be for that to happen to that person. Hot.
Really?
Just, I want them... I don't want them to die. I want them to feel excruciating pain in all of their orifices. All of them. Nose holes, eyeballs, everything. Just... feel that.
All right.
That's
if you're listening.
If let's together, everyone, let's manifest this. No. Let's wish.
It probably was a kid. Who knows?
And now they'll feel the wrath.
Yeah. It's very
anyhow,
hurtful.
Very very not nice. Anyways, that's the story of Snowy's misadventure.
Yeah.
Long story, but it is a happy ending.
Yeah. Somebody in the comment I just saw that said that the missing Snowy poster would have made a great flasher. Flasher.
We have a couple of those.
Yeah, I don't know where it is.
I think I don't want to show because it's got a phone.
Well, yeah.
Hold on. I think it's here.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry that we're talking about non-jeans stuff. But I guess it will come all the way back to jeans, how Snowy became the icon of our life, basically. Yeah. We did a lot of, that was also when we realized that like it's hard to live. It's actually kind of hard to live, even in Montreal, the city of island of Montreal. It's like it's hard to like live without French completely. We were encountering people who don't speak English, and fortunately our friends spoke French, so you know there was no problem. But yeah, we learned a lot.
Yeah. Do we have any of those like strip style?
No, we did. But
Okay, I'll figure it out.
we could just cover it up with the paper, fingers too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this poster. If you lived in Montreal, like in that neighborhood around that time, you must have seen it. We were just everywhere. And people were taking those posters down too.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's like, why? But then after that, like, you know, we had to go take down the posters.
So these are the ones that we would hand out to people. You know, Chat Perdu, Lost Cat. There was a couple of different versions of this.
Yeah.
I tried to post like as many cute photos of Snowy as possible. But this
was like taken from our friends like right before he got lost. So like
the same day.
Was the recent picture, and also it shows like his stripiness, because sometimes it's just the face, like you don't really see the body.
But we had a hashtag Find Snowy. We had a whole thing. Anyhow, we got him.
I wonder what happened to the hashtag.
I
was following it for a while.
All right, so that is the story of
long story.
Yeah, long story. That would have made a nice pocket flasher. It's true. I didn't know that we'd be telling this story. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we totally should have documented it now that it's a happy ending, but we didn't know if it's going to be happy ending. So.
Right. Maybe someone has a picture of the old poster. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, this was a poster for a while.
Yeah, find Snowy. Somebody had wished that we'd find him. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the community was great.
Yeah,
but also, there were some bad people in there too.
But there you have it, everybody. The story of Snowy. All right. And yeah, there was a lot of good people. Like the pet stores around the area were very helpful. People, they put up signs. Everyone, there was just a lot of helpful people. Like the bad was the bad, but the good was so good.
Yeah.
So.
And we loved saying hello to all the neighborhood cats.
Yeah, that's true.
We all named them.
In Japan, Risa and I once, I don't know if you guys know, but there's a lot of areas that are kind of well known for cats. And there's one island that is particularly well known. It's basically Cat Island. There are more cats than there are people. There are dozens of people. There are hundreds of cats. And Risa and I once went there, Tajiroshima. Mm-hmm. And it took us like a good 24 hours to get there.
No, it didn't. It's out of like the closest city that you might know is Sendai, and then you go from there. And it actually is one of the places that got hit by the earthquake. The tsunami is like the hardest.
Right.
So like when we had to take a ferry to the island, but where the ferry goes like from the main island, it was like nothing left anymore.
Right.
And that was in like
2017,
something like that. Yeah. So.
But yeah, we went there, and Risa and I and this mother-daughter team were the only people on the ferry boat that took you to the island. And there's only one boat that goes there in the morning and one boat that goes at night. So if you miss that boat, you're really screwed.
You're spending the night.
Yeah, you're spending the night. And there's no hotel there.
Yeah.
You'd have to hope that some nice fisherman lets you stay in their home. And we went there, and just cats everywhere.
Well, but less so because it was a rainy, cold day, and we would watch YouTube videos about people visiting the island, and there was just cats everywhere hanging out, sunbathing. None of that was the case.
It was a gray, gloomy day and raining. But at one point, we got to sort of a rest station area, just like some picnic benches and whatever. We sit down, and then just the cats all came, and they were just crawling all over you. It was really fun.
They were cold.
They were cold. They
were
wanted
just,
to
like,
warm up.
Yeah, the kittens. Kittens were like curling up on our laps.
One top point, there's like 14 or 15 cats on me at one point. If you're not a cat lover, maybe it sounds gross, or maybe the idea of like
it's
random...
all sanitary for sure, but you know, it's nice.
It was a good experience. Okay, there's some cat talk for you today. I knew that's what you guys were tuning in for. Let's get back into raw denim related things. To be fair, snowy selvage, that's the story. There you go. So it all ties in. Okay, let's check in. I'm scrolling up, so I'm going backwards to see what we missed here.
Oh, James Dant.
Dant is in the house. Everybody, you all know James Dant, one of the best retailers in America, if not the world. If not the world, America. America is the world, right?
It's part of the world.
Part of the world. But yeah, great retailer, longtime supporter of ours. And if you guys don't know who James Dant is by now, just lift the rock from over your head, and you'll discover the wonderful world of James Dant. He's answering some questions in the chat here. Good to see you, my friend. Okay. You know what? I'm just gonna scroll down. If I missed your question, ask it again, and we'll get to that one. Who will have the best Matsuri fades on r/raw denim? It's a good question, and we're only going to find out. Those Matsuri jeans are shipping out next week. Maybe we started shipping them, today, yesterday. I know the boys in the warehouse they got a lot of orders. Mm-hmm. They got a lot of orders to work through. You might see some of it on the next episode of This Week at Tate and Yoko, but I'm sure our shopping carts are full.
Yeah.
And our shipping containers are full. Sometimes you see them in the warehouse on This Week at Tate and Yoko. You can see like those gray bins that are full of like FedEx orders. I mean, we got like a month's worth of orders in 2 days.
Yeah.
The
cart gets full. Like there are times where it's just like all the carts are full. We gotta move carts because we have carts in our wholesale warehouse too. Yeah. We gotta steal their carts and use it in online sales.
So I'll ask the guys to give you a little preview of how they handled Black Friday shipments and picking and all that stuff. So you'll get to see a little bit more of it.
Yeah, I kind of miss it. It's like a fun few days of team effort. Everybody just gets into the warehouse.
Yeah. And you're just like, all right, how many can we get out today?
Yeah. And it becomes just like a game, in your head. It's just like, how fast can I pick this?
Yeah.
But.
Right. Or the day starts and you got a pile of picks this thick, like a phone book. Do kids even know what a phone book is anymore? You know what I learned the other day? Well, because we were there, we learned it together. I was watching these old instructional videos. Sometimes you just find random videos on YouTube, and these were instructional videos from the 60s and 70s, and it was on shoplifting. And this one was from the 1970s about credit card fraud. And I'm like, yeah, how did they deal with credit card fraud in the 1970s? And some of it was just basic kind of, if the person is making erratic purchases, and these are things to be worried about. I have to say, this is just a pro tip, I guess, for anybody out there who's trying to attempt credit card fraud. You guys, for some reason, you were give me 5 iPods. Look at I'm old, okay? I remember one time when I was working at Holt Renfrew, some guy, I was helping him out, and he's like, how many of those Gucci belts do you have in stock? And it was I don't know, several. He's like, yeah, I'll take 8. I'm like, 8 of them? The same belt? I'm like, uh-huh. He gives me his credit card. I'm like, get this shit out of here. He's like, I have ID. Obvious. And he shows me some student ID, and I'm like, it's when you offer me the ID, I'm like, get this out of here. What do you think? I'm an idiot, right? It's pro tip, if you're a credit card thief, you keep doing that because, you're definitely going to get away with it.
What you wanted to say was the credit card theft back in the days, to prevent that, they were printing out the list of Hot card.
Yeah, they call them hot cards. So like the retailer would have a booklet, and like they're supposed to go with the credit card and look through the list of hot cards. And I'm like, was credit card fraud such a non-problem back then that they could just print out this little booklet?
Yeah, and even if they're like updating it like, you know, monthly or weekly even, still, it's just like they're printing every single thing. It's just like, that's a lot of printing, first of all. And also, like, you know, you have to print it and distribute it to everywhere. So, like, they can't be doing that, like, you know, on the weekly.
It just couldn't have caught anything.
Yeah.
It couldn't have caught anything. So anyways, I thought that was really neat. But back to phone books. Yeah, just tons of picks, and you got to work through them. Our guys are going to do a great job, as they always do. But just bear in mind, if it takes a little bit longer to get your order, that's the reason why.
Yes. Especially if you have hemmings, you know.
Yeah.
Those will get a little backed up, for sure.
Joey DK writes, they ship fast unless they wait to read my comments. Terry was telling me that the comments for this week are especially good.
Great.
Do you guys know the
getting better and better.
You guys know the word of the week? It's gabagool. Gabagool.
I was supposed to say this here?
It's okay.
You gotta watch the video.
You gotta watch. Well, you gotta leave your comment comment in your order for Tate and Yoko to see if Terry will give you a little extra something, you know, gabagoolish. Jap27 writes, credit card thieves are the worst. I had a $6,000 transaction for flowers happen earlier this year. Let me tell you what I think happened. There was a $6,000 transaction for flowers, but that flower shop was in on that $6,000 transaction, because who the heck orders $6,000? Like, that is not something a thief would order. Thieves want to order stuff they can sell.
Yeah.
Right? So if they're buying flowers, that retailer's in on it, and you know they were hoping that they'd be able to cash in somehow. Who knows?
Or maybe
they were
had,
fooled
like,
somehow. But
maybe they had like a funeral, and it's like, how am I gonna pay for all the flower stuff?
That's got to be really silly. If you're, oof.
Or a wedding.
Oof.
You know,
I can
you're just planning a wedding. It's like, okay, we don't have budget for flowers.
It's real bad. It's real bad. If you did that, you should switch places with the person in the grave. That's what I'm saying. Switch them out. Regenerate that person. Switch them out. Let's do a trade. That's what I think of you thieves. It's not nice. Jap27. That's exactly what I told American Express. Who'd ever buy that many flowers? Yeah, sounds ridiculous. Okay. What's happening? James Dant's he's in his own little conversation in the world there. Something about zippers. Okay. RiceW5 says, I was saying about a book on the Snowy biography. Yeah, Snowy biography book. Decibels, right? Picked up a pair of the Snowy and 50% off the dark gray zip hoodie to go with it. Looking forward to them. That will be a great match. And just maybe I think my messaging on the hoodie situation is pretty out there. Maybe you guys know it, maybe you don't know. But if you buy anything on the website, absolutely. Let me just go and show you guys what I'm talking about, because the other big promo, in addition to like all the discounts that we're doing on Tate and Yoko, pronounced Tate and Yoko, we're doing a Naked Famous Denim sweatshirts. Buy anything, get a sweatshirt for 50% off. So if you happen to like this Hunter sweatshirt right here, very, very nice. Okay, let's get a size medium, add to cart, bam. You can see that right here, $134. That's an okay price, but I think we can do a little bit better. If you buy anything, and I'm saying anything, let's go 70% off land. Let's pick something that's on sale here. Final big old markdown. Let's find let's featured. Let's go price low to high. So we're talking some of the least expensive items on the website right now. If you want to get some wide cuff shorts for yourself or for someone else, you can. And they are a fun short. The fabric is very nice and light for the summer, by the way. You can add that to the cart, biggity bam, and guess what? You've just saved more money on that sweatshirt than it costs to buy those shorts.
And it's $99 altogether.
So you can save pretty big. You can save bigly. So you can add anything to the cart. It doesn't have to be the same price. It doesn't have to be regular price. It doesn't have to be, sale items. Everything's included. You can get a Naked Famous Denim sweatshirt for half price with the purchase of anything. Absolutely anything. So take advantage. I think it's a great time to pick up a sweatshirt, especially at such a great deal. And there's a lot of great offerings happening right now on the website. Do you have a particular favorite, Risa?
Of sale items?
Yeah, what's your favorite sale item right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I should have prepared for that question.
I didn't know I was going to ask it.
Let me browse through the sale section real quick.
You know what I think is on the website? Hold on, let me look it up. ELEPHANT, elephant. There is, that's not what I was looking for. Okay, let's see the search results. I found through, I guess some restocks. There were some Elephant X. Oh, they're not on sale. I will make them on sale after the live stream.
What size?
33 in the Easy Guy. That's a good one.
That's a good
29
one.
Weird Guy. Maybe not the most popular. But if you're looking for that Elephant X33, boom, we got it on the website. That is a rare one. This week there was also some random Jotaros that showed up. It looks like people picked those up.
Yeah, Jojo does get still show up. I think the same thing with sold out styles. Just always make sure to sign up for notification if you feel like you missed the initial release.
This week I saw a couple journos hanging around. I guess we had some return exchange type situations, but practically from the second batch of goods, literally there's only one Easy Guy Jolene left. And then from the first batch, there's Joseph's almost gone. Once we're down to like 28, 29s, and 40s and up, where I basically consider it gone. But Easy Guy, some good sizes left here. And then Joseph, the classic style, there's a little bit more there.
Yeah.
I think I kind of went into this one knowing that Joseph was going to be a little bit slower than the rest.
Random Matrix jeans are back in stock.
Really?
Yeah,
Let's check
just
that out.
one. size 29 though. I don't know.
Tough size.
Tough
It's
size,
always a tough size. If you're
Yeah.
a 28, 29, we got to be your favorite brand in the world because
Yeah.
there's a lot of deals in 28, 29 land.
To be fair, there's
Yeah.
a lot of Pickle Rick back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and these were great.
Those were gone for a while, eh?
Yeah, we're watching the
Gone.
new Rick and
New
Morty
season.
these days. So, yeah.
Pickle Rick's back. All
Yeah.
right. I guess we had found a couple of those in the warehouse somewhere.
It's great.
Okay.
Great
Good
deals,
sizes
too.
too. Good sizes too. Yeah. Speaking of finding things in the warehouse, there was that holographic denim
Right.
jacket that
I
we
think
found.
everybody's asking in the chat.
We had one of our good customers come by Montreal today, and he got to snag one early. But yeah, they'll be out once we figure out proper release procedures for that.
Right.
But we got to get through all this Black Friday stuff before we get there.
Yeah, to get something online, it requires a lot of work. So
Yeah.
we wanted to do it after the business is
Yeah.
gone.
Okay. W5 writes, eBay fraud. I had somebody claim a watch had not arrived and wanted the money and postage, even though it was tracked and they signed for it. Yeah. There's some...
eBay is still, huh?
Yeah,
But eBay protection is kind of better.
A little bit better, I
right?
think.
Yeah.
It's tough. I mean, even from a personal standpoint, you can you do business online. You know that at some point somewhere you're going to get a transaction that's not going to go through all the way. Considering the volume that we do, we see it. It's not a daily occurrence, but it's more often than I would like it to be. And I just I would say that from the perspective of a brand that's very close and personal with their customer base, it really feels like you invited a friend into your house and they took something. You know, it really does, because like you know, we're making stuff for enthusiasts. It's enthusiasts for enthusiasts, and you know, it's just it's weird to feel that there are people out there who would do that, and especially I do think that we do provide. There's a lot of price points, a lot of value that there's a lot of options for you to get our products at kind of any price point, even like a mall jean price point. Like there's options, right? We have something for everyone. So, you know, like I don't want to hear the excuse that I don't got it. You know, I just don't feel like there are so many people in that realm who need to go to that length to get our products. You know, even on forums, sometimes I see people like, yeah, I agree with these jeans. I own a lot of jeans. These are a couple pairs that don't fit me anymore. Whoever wants them, just pay for the shipping. You know, that kind of thing. Like, anyways, you know how I feel about thievery. Okay. Wow. Seb writes, Matsuri Weird Guy, please restock. Oof. It's a tough one.
But sign up for notification just in case somebody returns one.
That's true. Some are bound to be returned. It's gonna happen. So maybe you'll get lucky and be able to pick one up on that return side. But you know what? There might be, if you're in America, it is quite possible that you will find one at our American store. Ooh. Hold on. Just that 31 left. Just one. If you're an Easy Guy 31, which somebody in this chat probably is, and you're looking for that in Matsuri, get them, because that's the last of them. That went fast. Snowy went really fast as well.
Yeah, Snowy's almost sold out on Tate.
Right. There's some here in New York still. Right. Copperhead, not as popular as some of the other ones. Turmeric, that's kind of I mean, they're going. Let's see how they're doing over at Tate Land. Sorry, in Tate. Yeah, this is Tate Land. Tate Land. Matsuri. Snowy is almost gone. That probably won't last the weekend. Those are all, looks like they're pretty key sizes here. Turmeric is doing okay, and Black is doing okay. I knew that these first two were going to be the real hot fire. You know what I'm saying? Shout outs to Vinny. You know what I'm saying? I love Vinny. He's so good.
Somebody asked, is there any more new drops this year?
The answer is there is still the
big one.
The 15-year anniversary Naked and Famous Denim drop. That is happening. And then there is also the Pagoda. So like the turmeric dye, there's a Pagoda dye. So another natural colored weft dyed jean coming out. So those are the two major ones.
Orangey, like the Pagoda dye denim also is very like rough.
Yeah,
like, it's crunchy.
Yeah,
it's slubby. It's.
You'll see the video coming soon.
Yeah,
we got to make that one still, but those are the two releases still left for the end of the year. It's November the 25th. We're 1 month away from Christmas Day. In 1 month from now, Santa would have already delivered his gifts, delivered his toys to all the little little girls and boys.
Well, he's working on it, I think, tonight. In the North America, he's still at work.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
At North America, he's still at work.
Oh, he's
considering our time zone, right? Yeah. So he's just finishing up. He's waiting for Mrs. Claus. She's got his his bath ready. Probably some cookies, maybe some carrots for the reindeers.
He had enough cookies on the road.
You know what? He needs the energy. He needs the energy. He's burning tons of calories, you know? Maybe he's got a nice turkey dinner waiting. Who knows? Mrs. Claus holding it down at North Pole Central while Santa and the boys, the reindeers, doing their job. But yeah, it's only a month away. 1 month away. This whole year is lickety split, just like
Crazy.
that.
Yeah. Crazy.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
To be fair, though, this year is really the first year it feels like, back to normal. From the COVID. Like, nobody's talking about COVID anymore. I mean, that's not true. But, like, we all lived through it, but it's not dictating our lives anymore. So I feel like it's just like, it's basically 2020.
Yeah. We should just cancel those 2 years. We should forget those years.
Yeah,
and
we
just
don't
reset.
even count them in our ages.
Yeah. They're just the lost years.
Yeah.
All right. James Dan, he's writing to LF. I could be completely wrong. I'm going off Naked and Famous created a custom fit for them a few years ago. They have this huge curved denim wall, but they may have reduced inventory. I have no idea what's going on there.
Yeah, don't get into people's conversations, maybe.
I'm kind of interested, though. Okay. Jeremy Ditson writes, got my Matsuri, Copperhead, and Snowy in 36 True Guy in the wee hours of the morning and received tracking a few hours later. All three fantastic denim, but the Matsuri and Snowy are fire in person. Did you already get them? You gotta... that would be quite impressive. Yeah. If we had shipped them on... You know what? Maybe if they got on Wednesday, because the orders are coming in on Wednesday, maybe like midday Wednesday they started picking and packing. If it left on Wednesday, it's possible, depending on where you are, that you might have received them Friday, which is today. If that
would be the best case scenario.
That'd be the best case scenario.
Yeah. Don't expect that for all the orders.
Yeah.
So,
especially at this point.
Yeah.
Especially at this point. Mel, you write, none of the sales were in my size, but amazing sale nonetheless. Right. Well, thanks for checking it out. Anyways, unfortunately we don't have... I think we try our best to make sure that there's something for everyone, but sometimes it just doesn't work that way. We work with what we got. But that was kind of the reason, like with the capsule collection, is to ensure that they're like
at least their
size. At least we have some product that they're sizing and everything, right? Because a lot of the sales, it's on already sale items, so those size runs might have already been depleted. But with the capsule collection, it's like, okay, whether there's enough inventory to go around for the entire duration of the sale, turns out there wasn't.
Right.
It's just some things that we'll learn for next year. But yeah, we tried there. But yeah, if it sold out fast, sorry. LF writes, we were talking about which retailer, apart from Tate and Yoko, carries the most of your stock, whether volume or most lines. The greatest breadth of styles interests me. Who carries a...
New York City?
Tate and Yoko, New York. Or sorry, Naked Famous Denim, NYC. Blue Owl carries a very big selection. James Dant's got a great selection as well. Cultism in Germany.
Yeah.
Muttonhead in Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Muttonhead in Toronto. Dutil,
yes.
Across Canada. Yeah. They have 3 locations. 2 locations.
2 locations.
2 locations. Yeah, there's a couple of retailers out there that have like a ton. Other stores are a little bit more curated. Sometimes it just depends on the space. Sometimes people have the space. If you got a big warehouse style store, you can carry a lot of jeans. Speaking of warehouse style stores, in Montreal there's a store called Jeans, which carries a lot of our jeans. And they're literally like a warehouse. But yeah. Trash Man writes, do Nordstrom still carry? Nordstrom does not carry at the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna hit there. I wish I had the button. Rent time. Department store rent time. You know how I love to rant and rave about the department stores. And if department store buyer, if you're listening to this later on, I don't mean any of this. I really genuinely appreciate all of your business. You guys have done so much for us over the past time. You guys are the best. You're just so amazing at everything you do. Department stores. here's the, now that you've tuned out department store buyer, I know you were just, oh man, thanks so much, you're the best, Bahzad, I love you. Okay, click off, right? I'm gonna go watch another video. Okay, now you're gonna get the real deal. Department stores have no idea what they're doing. Zero clue. They've given up practically all of their business to all of their competitors. And not only did they give it up, they rolled out the carpet for them. They were like, here you go, right this way. Why don't you just take all of our business? You can have it, in fact. And then they at the end of the year, they're all like, why didn't we make any money this year? Why are we closing store after store after store? What could have possibly been the problem? Here's the problem. And here's the problem that they're going to face until they're all gone. And this is what's going to happen. Then there's no turning it around, because you've set the wheels so in motion that there's no turning this off, right? That truck is going at 100 miles an hour. They cut the brakes. Even if it hits a wall to stop, the wall is going to go down with it, and that truck's going to keep on rolling through. Department store buyers are not equipped. They do not know about the products that they're buying. They never do. I will not say never. I'll say very, very rarely.
Yeah.
On very rare occasions. And I'm going to stipulate that there is, I'm going to say, one department store left with buyers that know what they're doing. But in general, the buying situation is always, you've got some person who, I don't know, they went to school for buying or whatever. Maybe they, very rarely, the other thing I've noticed about department stores is that very rarely do they like hire from within. Like the good sales guy on the sales floor, they're like, why would we ever take the good sales guy off the floor? Why would we ever put them in the position of becoming...
Which is a valid point. Right? I mean, you know, if you're a good salesperson. But there are probably like a lot of sales people that are more like, you know, what's the word, suitable for the buying job, because, you know, like obviously, like the idea is that you need to have the experience of the floor. Like you need to know who's actually shopping, not just like the idea of who our target customer is, but also like actual interactions and stuff like that. But not everybody is a sales superstar. Some people are live to sell, and other people are more like analytical or like, you know, oh, I can do this, I can do that. Like, you know, people that are maybe not the best salesperson all the time, but people who get the like just the customer and what they're wanting, and also understands that if you equip the salesperson with information about the products, then they get to, you know, have a conversation, not just like, here is the fitting room. Yeah, right. So the buyer, or they're often not the right person for the job. You'll get, it's like, I wouldn't say Russian roulette, it's just roulette with them. It's like, okay, you're the buyer from this department. Okay, well, the buyer from that department left, now we're moving you to this department. It's like, you used to sell ladies' shoes? Okay, now you're in men's denim. They also do this intentionally. It's not like people are leaving and they're replacing it. They move people around intentionally, so it's kind of like maybe they're trying to avoid bribery or like, you know. I don't know what it is, but like you will almost never, only one department store we work with, their buying team has stayed consistent in like 15 years. Every other one, it's like every 8 months, every 16 months, it's just somebody new. And it's like, you will. And somebody wrote, Kenny Ingram writes, the Bay is closing a ton of stores, but they're carrying quite a few Naked and Famous now. Kudos to the Bay buyer that picked you up. The Bay buyer that picked us up, great guy. And just like a lot of the department stores that pick us up, sometimes you get the right buyer. And the right buyer's in the right place, the right time, they know what they're doing, and they're picking up the right brands, and they're trying to develop this, they're trying to build out that department. And then guess what? See you later, you're in a new department now, and then the person who's taking over, like, well, that's not my vision. That's not the way I see this. Guys, I'm such a good buyer. I just came from kitchen accessories, and now I'm buying jeans. It's just the same thing, right? Yeah. Tell me, what is salvaged denim? Do you guys like, what is this? Like, you get it from the recycle shops? What's going on here? And you're like,
Okay, now I have to explain to you why this, and they're like, why? Who would buy this?
But
right?
the best case scenario, you get the good buyer, right?
Okay.
Like you get a fantastic buyer.
Right. And then you get the sales staff that have no training.
Yeah.
Zero training.
Zero knowledge.
Yeah.
Also, like
they are clerks. They're there to put the thing in the bag for you.
Yeah.
And when the department stores, when I worked there, even before they let us on the floor, we had to do 7 days of full-time intense training on like how to deal with all these different situations. All right, and then even there, I got blessed, and I don't think many people have this kind of experience with their managers. But my manager was very tough, and she really taught us about. She was in suits, how to fit a suit, what makes the right suit. Like she was a teacher. And I learned a lot from her. But other departments, your manager just made your schedule. I mean, that was as far as whatever help they're getting. They knew even less about the products than you knew, right? So
no, that's the problem. The customer, especially for products like ours, like there's more to it than like, oh, it looks nice.
Yeah.
Like the customers often know way more about products that they're interested in spending their own money, and then you talk to the salesperson and they don't know anything. They
nothing.
Can't tell you anything.
It's
like what's the point?
It reminds me of that episode of Parks and Rec with Ron. He goes into the hardware store. Hi, how can I help you? I know more than you. It's just like that. If you don't understand, that is the customer. I'm going to say, not just 2023, in 2015, that's the customer. The customer knows more than you. When they walk into that door, they know more than you. And it gets to the point of like, why am I going all the way to this store? I got to go through traffic. I got to go pay through parking. I got to go to the subway. Like whatever it is, I got to fight all these crowds so that I can go to a store that may or may not have my size when I get there, and a staff member who, even if they, the likelihood that they care is very low, right? Why don't I just go to the store that does care, that does know what they're talking about, that tries to tell the story about their products properly? Yeah. Right?
And if you call them up ahead of time, they'll know if they have your size or not, or they have the product you're interested in or not.
So all these department stores, they dangle this carrot of this order in front of you. Oh, we're going to do this big order. We're going to do this big order. Okay, you get this order. And then at the end of the season, when they didn't sell any of it, because they don't know how to sell any of it, their sales for some reason are your problem. Like, we're makers. I make a thing, right? You want the thing, I make the thing, I deliver the thing. But the thing I don't have control of is your hiring, your training, all of that other stuff. But at the end of the season, they say, well, your sell-through wasn't so great. So here's what we're going to do. If you want another order, they're just dangling this thing, you're going to have to take back a certain amount of these goods. Or you're going to have to give us money. You pay us. Now, you pay us so that we achieve a certain margin level with your products. And it's like, that is insane. Why would I do that?
And this is why buyers are useless now, because they don't take responsibility. They at the end of the season, if that doesn't come back to you, whether you performed well, whether you picked well for your customer base, for your stuff to sell, it doesn't come back to them. They'll be like, oh, I'm just talking to the brand. The brand's gonna take care of it. The brand's gonna give us extra money to mark these things down. So it's like, what is the point of buyers then? Yeah, you have to be good at something to be paid for something.
So the other thing that this has caused, because of this margin dispute, is the prices of things have gone up unbelievably. Right? Because now you will take a basic jean that might have sold for $150. If it has 80 or 90% margin in it, $300-400 retail, well, guess what? When the retailer marks it down 50% off, they're still earning their margin, their required margin from the brand. So it all works out well. The brand doesn't have to pay them back. The retailer is making their margin. They're selling crappier product at a higher price. And then for the brands that don't operate this way, that are making high-end products at value, good priced items, we have to play by these same rules. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't want to play by those rules. I'm not interested in these rules. And to be fair, your orders aren't that interesting anyways. Like, in some cases, I've dealt with department stores who are like, yeah, we have this much budget for you. And I'm like, I have to jump through how many hoops to get that? I'm like, we sell that in 2 days on Tate and Yoko. Mm-hmm. I don't need your business. Yeah, I don't need it. It's not worth the stress.
Right, exactly. Because at the end of the day, like their volume is high. They often put you in multiple locations, so like the order volume is high, but then we have to go through and make all this stuff, and you get less money. And at the end of the season, there's also like a bunch of like just chargebacks that are like,
oh yeah, if you didn't pack the item right and put, you had the box weight of this one was over by 3 pounds, so that's a $50 chargeback on your. It's just like,
yeah, so like they're very hard to work with. They charge you for penalty for the smallest things. Yeah. And they're just, you can't talk to them. Yeah. They're just like, oh no, this is the rules. I don't make the rules. And it's like, at the end of the day, we were making less money, and we have to deal with all of these things in volume. Yeah. So like, at the end of the day, like sometimes I feel like we're just like, okay, that was for just this much money. Yeah. We could have focused like our time and effort into other things, like selling to stores that doesn't send us.
And the other thing that you're just responsible for are their returns. So if they get a return of like a customer claims it's a damage or a defect, they'll just send it back to you and then like deduct the cost of that item from whatever they have to pay you, regardless if it's the thing that you even sold them. One time I got salt. I got a thing of salt from one of the American department stores. Salt. And I'm like, why do I have salt? Why did you guys send me salt? Right? And the return description is, oh, defective jeans, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I got salt. I got fancy salt. I didn't have any jeans, right? One time I had some jeans that had the Naked and Famous Denim leather patch sewn onto them, but they weren't our jeans. Somebody had just removed the patch, and so, I'm like...
To be fair, that person did go to the length, but they didn't have to. Right. They could have just sent back any jeans with the wrong patch. Yeah. Nobody's going to notice.
And then the recourse on our end to try and get that fixed, like...
It's impossible.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Nobody's going to deal with it. Nobody's going to answer you, and...
It's worth our like...
It's not worth your time. Yeah. To recoup the cost of that... is not worth the time.
They make it so difficult to claim anything from our side, but from their side, they say like, "Oh, this was off by a little bit. This all these rules, that rule book like this thick that you're supposed to read and agree to and sign." Yeah. And like they have all the power, but if you break the rules of ours. That's not our problem.
A couple more funny rules, and then I'll tell you why they're rolling out the carpet for all the retailers. Right. One time, we had one of our retailers send us a form because I guess they were trying to prove how they only work with like ethical and diverse brands and whatever. And they had this thing that said, if we would like you to sign this, like as a to prove that your company has a woman in charge, a woman designer, a woman employee. It was just like every possible thing that you can imagine. I'm like, which company doesn't have any of this stuff?
But if you are a two-people company, for instance, like if those two happens to be dudes, started the brand, like what are you gonna do? Right. You have to now hire a woman executive and as a third person?
Right. But it was ridiculous. It was like, yes, this applies to like everyone, literally, except for your case. Yeah. But like if you're a one-man brand, like literally,
or even 5-people brand, like is it a discrimination if 5 guy friends got together and started a brand and got somewhere so that the department store is paying attention now? Yeah. And is it like now like it's their problem to have to include a woman in this.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So that stuff is funny. But and why they're rolling out the red carpet for everybody is because everybody doesn't want to deal with this anymore. They realize that they don't have to jump through these hoops to get the same amount of business that these department stores used to offer. But even when they used to offer like this kind of business with all the returns and chargebacks and all this stuff, it was like, after like 5 or 10 years of working with them, you're like, well, how much money did I make? It just doesn't add up. So all the brands are like, forget it. I'm going to open up my own store. I'm going to operate with independent retailers that know how to sell this product properly. And guess what? Any independent retailer we have that we deal with outsells any department store. They all do it. And it's like, it's so much less work, so much like less hoops to have to jump through. You're dealing with nice people who aren't trying to like screw you over every opportunity they get.
Yeah.
So,
and who we can talk to. If there's a problem, we can talk to them.
Yeah. So the department stores now are left with brands who are like, well, why am I going to deal with this? Why am I going to deal? Well, I'm not going to sell to you because you might get new brands that don't know yet. And so, you'll have a revolving door of that. But then you'll have your mainstays. That's why you have these big brands that they carry at like every single location, because they're built for that. They're built with the giant margins. They're built with this and they're built with that. And they're also built. This is a little speculation, but they're also built in with the buyer bribery. Like one time, I heard a story. This is one of the very large brands that you might see at a department store, at every department store, somehow convinced the buyer at this other department store to purchase over $1 million more than what was budgeted. $1 million. And this was happening like season after, and somehow these POs were getting through. And anyways, once they caught on to that, the buyer was fired. And I'm sure the little backdoor deal that was going on there made it all well worth their while. But like, for sure, like the little chicanery that goes on, it's all there as well. But yeah, department stores, they're just, most of them are landlords now. Shop and shop. Right? They themselves are getting out of retail. They're like, you know what? It's better to just have a luxury brand, have a store inside our store. Like,
and have them hire their own stuff, all the kind, and they take, not only do they take rent, but they take percentage.
Yeah, which will last until the designer brand decides, I'll just open my own store. You know what I mean? So it's all like the trajectory that they're on is for self-destruction.
Yeah.
And you should not be surprised or sad when they find themselves in the position that they're in. They're not trying to cater to you. They're not trying to find you the best product at the best. Not that they have to be the best product at the best price, but they're buying less and less actual luxury. They're buying more overpriced, premium mediocre stuff, small store quality.
Yeah, but
at luxury prices.
They're basically creating these brands that are premium mediocre brands because their practices, they have to have a certain amount of margin, so the brands now have to charge a lot more for mediocre products. Yeah. So that they can work with these department stores. So it's like a vicious cycle. They're just like, they're creating these bad brands because of it. Yeah. And like, less, cost performing products. It's not reasonably priced. Yeah.
Lee Shangstyle writes, what do you guys think of Japanese department stores like Isetan?
There are, like, Japanese department stores have been a landlord for a long time. Like, it's...
You walk into Isetan in Ginza, it's all shop and shops.
It's all shop and shops. It's all, there is no, like, buyer. It's all stores. And it's like... There are really landlords. They do offer, like, the food section or like groceries and all of that. That's even like landlord based. So like it's all like the stores are very useful in a way that it's a mall. It's basically a mall that's in a building that's operating under, you know, whatever. And, you know, they do have their own stuff like information desk and security and stuff like that. But it's mostly just...
that's just the way it is. And it's been like that here for a long time. And the West is starting to pick up more and more on that. And but
they do have, like, you know, like, for instance, event spaces. Like, that's what they're there for. Like, they're a landlord, but they're involved landlord, that are not just, you know, letting brands run, you know, everything. They're just like initiate like excitement and bring people into the stores. So I think they're a little bit better just because they're more open about being a landlord and they don't pretend to be anything else.
Right. James Dant with the good question. Bahzad, what do you use for navigation in Japan? I'm having more luck with Google Maps than Apple Maps for sure. I can't even make a plan of places to visit because addresses don't work. I use a special program called Risa Maps, and Risa here is very good at navigating us through life in general.
Google Map, 100% Google Map. You don't rely on address. Address means nothing other than like just the main part, you know, where like it tells you the general location of it. But Google Map has everything. Yeah.
So, there are no street signs in Japan. Like there's no like sign on the corner.
There's no street, like streets don't have names except for the really large ones, like the big ones. And they don't run in grids like America, which, you know, if it did, it would really help me because I have no sense of direction. But Google Map is really, I don't see any.
I don't get lost with Google Maps.
Right, and it's not like just because it's Japan, it's less information or anything like that. It's fully loaded with the full information.
Yeah, if you need help finding something, let us know. I'll consult Risa Maps for you. Vance Edward writes, I'm not in the market for new jeans right now, but wanted to say hi to you two. Hope you have a great weekend. Take her on a vacation. I should take you on a vacation.
Yes, please.
That
would be nice.
Thank you so much.
I need to take you for a vacation because on vacation too, Risa Maps have to work.
That's true. Mel Yu writes, I got the green cast denim and it has been one of my favorite jeans of all time. The green cast denim is a very awesome jean. I wore that when we first released it under the MIJ3. One of my favorite jeans. If I did not grow so much, I would still enjoy them to this day. I feel like if you guys ever watched Power Rangers, or Rita Repulsa would throw her stick to the ground, make my monster grow, and then the guy would go from regular size to like kaiju size.
Okay, did that happen?
That happened to me. Oh. I grew. Except instead of a magic, wand being thrown at the ground, potato chips.
I will do that.
Potato chips will do it also. A little bit slower, but you'll get there. Okay, David Dixon. Also, aren't buildings traditionally numbered in order of construction, not in order up the street? Really? I don't know about that. It could. To be fair, I don't know how the numbers on the streets work either.
Yeah, it's not. It's true. Like there is no
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's usually if it's next to each other, the numbers is the next number. So I don't know.
But there's there's like 3 or 4 sets of numbers. So it'd be like 10-13-12.
So the block is a number. So like, the area, general, like obviously it's a general area and a more focused area. And then the blocks have numbers. And within the block, each building has a number. So, I mean, it makes sense. It's not like it's a, wumba jumba, no rules.
Yeah.
But it's...
there's some rules.
It's not as organized as American or Western rules.
Joey Decay writes, will you make a cardigan ever again? The last were so nice. I'm going to say the chances of us making a cardigan again are low. Not impossible. Brandon still likes
cardigans. So I think at some point he's going to make it.
It's just the audience, the world isn't wearing cardigans. So
well, but you know, I mean,
Joy Decay is
these are interesting.
Yeah.
If there's more interest in the cardigan items,
yeah,
I think Brandon, like, if he learns that people are asking for it, he would just be happy to get on it.
yeah. The world of the 2000s like we're in Y2K land ish.
That's true. Yeah.
The next step, we're back to hipsters. And then I don't know it's going to be hipsters and then athleisure and then what? We ran out. Athleisure was it was like, no wait, hipsters and workwear, but I feel like there's a workwear vibe right now.
Yeah.
Hipsters.
Yeah.
Then athleisure.
Yeah.
Then we're done. Fashion is over. Like where are we going? We're going to which way are we going?
Are we going to redo like
I don't know because nothing I feel like nothing really came after that.
Yeah, I mean, after that, the big thing was Y2K, so like it's gonna have to come back, but then the span has been too short for it to be like,
yeah, I don't
cool
know.
Again.
I just feel like we can't go back to like the '60s with like giant collars. Like that's
Can't
not
we?
that ain't coming back. That ain't coming back. 80s Americana, like okay, like 80s glam kind of fits in with the the hipster stuff. Because the hipster stuff, a lot of that kind of felt a little bit like, there was a lot of like big, stupid like emo hair. Sorry if you were emo. I was just before that, so I didn't get into it.
I don't know, but 80s vibes was very different, I feel.
Yeah, but that emo hair
Attitude
and
was...
like some of the styling, like the leggings, that was very 80s.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, leggings is part of...
Yeah. Anyhow,
it's very different vibes.
Yeah, a little bit, but it felt like it.
But yeah, you have to like take a step back and look from afar in order to see what is going on.
Spencer's mustache, bring back grunge. I agree. We need more of that.
Yeah,
back.
but even grunge is like like all these things like it just didn't go away. Like grunge is like
But here's the thing: is that, you do, grunge, and the way a lot of this stuff is.
There are people who are still grunge, from all the way then.
Yeah, they never stop.
Yeah.
But now, if you were to bring it, if it, hit, I just don't like. I don't know. It's because I'm old, and my perception of these trends is always like it was very natural and it was a uniform for a type of person. Like if you were grungy, you were listening to alternative music, right? Like that was you. And like if you didn't really live it and you dressed it, you were a wannabe, you were a poser, But now, nowadays, obviously those terms don't exist at all. Like that concept doesn't exist at all. But so I don't know. It just feels weird to sometimes see that outfit on someone who is very squeaky clean. Mm-hmm. A squeaky clean version of grunge it's just there's something cringy about it to me. Mm-hmm. It's like if you go to the you see in the big chain store, sometimes they'll have like heavy metal T-shirts for like kids, and I'm like. And sometimes I see kids and they have like mohawks and like painted hair and like I'm just like that used to mean something and now it's kid stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you're getting old.
I'm getting old. Yeah. It's like with tattoos. When I was a kid, a tattoo meant like you were a bad man. You earned that tattoo. Mm. Now I see tattoos with like Pikachu and I'm like, it's fine. Like obviously the meaning has changed, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you like it, so you decorate yourself, mm-hmm. which is fine. But, sometimes you see really bad-looking tattoos on people, and I'm like, I'm not scared of you, Like, you don't appear to be a badass, Mm. And you probably aren't, which is, I guess, better for the world in general.
Yeah.
But it makes me, like... the way that we're taking stuff and sometimes things lose meaning in that respect. It's just
Well, it changes meaning.
yeah, but I just wonder what's the new one. Like,
Yeah.
what's replacing it? Like, because I just feel like we're not replacing a lot of stuff anymore. We're taking the old stuff, you know, enjoying it now, but it's like with the trend stuff. Like, we're not replacing trends, right? We're recycling them, and like we're kind of, you know, I just felt like the wave of trend recycling, you know, maybe 10 or 15 years ago was much longer. Now we're going through trends so fast that we literally have no time to replace it, right? Like, things always felt like 20 years ago, but now it feels like, oh, it's actually just 10 or 5 years ago. It's like what we're doing now, and I'm like, it barely had time to wear out, and you're already back into it again.
Right. I mean, people say that it takes 20 years for something to be vintage, and like it's not even vintage.
I don't even feel that at all. Halo on Xbox is 20 years. I'm like, that's not vintage, you know?
Yeah. I remember how shocking it was when, like, I went to Apple store and they said that anything from 5 years or whatever, like before, we call that vintage. And it's like, what?
Yeah, no.
Vintage is 20. That rule cannot change.
Yeah. Right. Oh, geez. Electric Bamboo writes, trend recycling feels like it is forced by commerce than by actual people. I disagree. I think it goes the other way around.
The trend recycling feels like it's forced by commerce than the actual people.
Yeah, I think it's completely the other way around, because you can't, I don't think you can force ideas like trends on people that easily. You know, if people aren't into it, if they don't feel like that is what it is going on right now, they're not going to buy into it. You know, because every company tries. They try to, like, you know, I remember when UGG boots were first kind of making the rounds, and then when I was in the department store, we had all these other brands of boots that tried to come in to be like, oh, we're like the next one. And none of them picked up, because people were like, no, that's the one I want. Like, I'm not. And so,
well, but that's
but because I feel like it was more, it wasn't like it was forced on them. People were like, oh no, this is good, right? Like, and then when you try to force a trend on someone, like, people are saying, oh, this is the next trend, this is what's coming. People are like, no, I'm not buying it.
I mean, I think the companies, like gigantic company, has less and less power. Look at you know, luxury brands now chasing after street, you know, streetwear trends. It's like, so like if the biggest, you know, fashion conglomerate in the world cannot even create their, like, cannot even make
a new image, right?
Yeah, or like cannot even make people like aspire to that, to what they're doing.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I think it's, you know,
right.
That was a very good example of, like, they don't have any power anymore.
They went to the street to, you know what I mean? They went to,
because
like,
streetwear was such a thing where, like, people were spending, like, equivalent amount of money as luxury goods. So they're like, oh, okay, like, now we can just make this.
But they might have been doing that in the resale, like, you know.
Exactly,
right.
But that's the whole point. Like, they're realizing, like, okay, like, we always, you know, cater to this crowd because our pricing was so high for, you know, like, regular consumers to do. But it's actually not that way anymore.
But they also didn't even set the trend. Like, they didn't set like that aesthetic. That aesthetic was set from the street, and then, you know.
Yeah, because enough people are spending a lot of money on these things, and it's like, okay, then we have to cater to this market, this group.
Yeah, we're not gonna convince them into what we're doing. Yeah. So we're gonna do what they're doing, and so I find David Dixon, welcome to the channel. So I don't find that brands and, like, these big fashion houses, I don't think that they set the trends more than the street and what people are, where they are in their world, in their lives, set what they have to accommodate. I think it goes the other way around. So,
although, I mean, it's true that certain, like, individuals that are, like, large, like, big actual influencers do have the power to make
Yeah, like a Kim Kardashian type. You know, if she does
if enough
something,
of them get together and started, doing certain things, then nobody can stop it.
Right. If she started wearing, clown shoes, there would. But that's kind of a queen bee, mentality. There are certain people who are just like, well, I'm just gonna, but the queen sets the trend in that respect, or the king, or whoever is in that world. But sometimes they're not. I don't know. Anyways, it's. I don't think that these big companies have as much power as sometimes people give them credit for.
But the influencer thing is just kind of like the company can't pay them to be, to make a trend happen. So at the end of the day, like, that's their job. That's what they get paid for. So the company can make a trend for sure, but it's just by dropping a lot of money on individuals who can turn things around for that trend.
Right. Vance Edwards. From now on, Naked and Famous will only dye their denim with pure indigo, and the prices will not change. We do dye most of our jeans with pure indigo, and the prices will definitely change. Prices always change. We don't have control over change.
Yeah. Pure indigo
is synthetic indigo.
Yeah, regular indigo.
Yeah, that's most of the denim in the world.
Indigo dye, yeah.
Albert writes, have to disagree. I think it's media. I do not believe anyone naturally would love pineapple on pizza. Hard disagree. You know what? And I was validated the other day.
Media did that?
No, pineapple? I'm a pineapple on pizza guy. Pineapple, chili peppers. I love that combination. Pineapple, like some kind of hot pepper, and even ground beef. I don't eat pork, but I eat ground beef. But you can do I'm sure pepperoni would work just as well. But pineapple with a meat and a chili, fantastic. And the other day I was validated by Joe Rogan himself. Also enjoys pineapple on a pizza. I think he got one with anchovies on it. So a salty and a sweet together. Salty and a sweet. That's the key.
I actually have no it's not my favorite thing on pizza, honestly.
But you're not offended by it.
I'm not offended by it. I feel like people usually take a stand on that, like, oh, it definitely yes or definitely no.
Yeah.
I learned to be in the middle, actually. I think it's because of you order pizza with pineapple all the time, so I think it was like, okay, fine. Yeah. I mean, this is fine. Even
when I make it at home, I do it. I put it on there.
Yeah,
and it is great. It is delicious. Chicken on pizza is also acceptable. If I had all the money in the world, not all the money in the world, if I had all the money in the world, everyone would have no money and money would be valueless. Because by me having all the money, I would always have all the money because I couldn't not have all the money by definition of having all the money in the world. So, with not using that example, if I had a lot of money, I would open up a pizza restaurant right in the heart of Italy.
The pizza talk's just good, all that.
I would go right in the middle of Italy and open up a pineapple on pizza restaurant. And I will show them, not make them, I will show them how delicious pineapple on pizza is. And then I would do it in every place that is offended by pineapple on pizza, and it would be my other life's goal.
To offend people?
No, I don't want to offend them. I want them to try it, and I think it's one of those things where people are like, oh, I don't like it. It sounds, that's the worst. I'm like, come on, give it a try. Taste this. It's delicious. It's delicious and it's good for you. Pineapple is a fruit. Fruits are good for you.
I don't know if that's the case.
Yes, it is a fruit. I promise you.
It is a fruit, yeah, that's for sure.
A spicy Hawaiian pizza is the best, Dusty Rad title writes. Hawaiian pizza for the win, Nicholas Vilpu. Although pepperoni and jalapeno is my favorite, future me, not so much. Future you regrets it because it's so delicious and you eat so much of it. But in the moment, in the spirit of the moment, it is delicious. Salty and a sweet make a pizza.
It's amazing how many people have opinions about pizza toppings.
Double hot peppers, the Garrett special writes. To be fair, pizza is a fruit too. That's right. Tomatoes are a fruit.
Pizza is not a fruit. Okay?
Right.
It's ridiculous.
It's made from wheat. Wheat is a plant. I can't stand barbecue chicken on pizza. Fair enough. Pineapple, pizza, Gene, golden, yellow inside. Pineapple has the pineapple lovers have spoken.
I mean, to be fair, it never goes away. Idea that pineapple on pizza just always like persists. That means there's enough people who like them.
Yeah. Electric Bamboo writes, Hawaiians will say the conventional pineapple and ham pizza is not Hawaiian, but I still love it. But what to name it then? Because in Hawaii, kalua, pig, smoked pulled pork feels more authentic and good. You know what? Just take credit for it. It's okay, right? It's no, if you guys want to do it differently in home, that's fine. Chinese food in America is called Chinese food, even though some of those dishes may not be found in China. But it is still Chinese food. Wasn't Hawaiian pizza invented in Canada? It's quite possible that the Canadians are responsible for the Hawaiian pizza, but it's kind of like what's the other one? That Australian restaurant,
Outback
Steakhouse. You're not going to find an Outback Steakhouse in Australia or a Bloomin' Onion. They're very confused by that concept, and I love to tell people whenever I meet them that are from Australia that I love their food, and I proceed by telling them how much I enjoy Blooming Onions, and then they're like, "That's not ours," and I'm like, "Yes, it is." You may not know that about your culture, but I do, and we put it on you, and it's yours now.
Did Outback Steakhouse invent blooming onions?
I don't think they invented it. They probably didn't invent it. If they did, that guy needs a Nobel Peace Prize. Mm-hmm. That's a Nobel Peace Prize right there. Any conflict in the world can be solved by sharing a blooming onion.
It is very shareable.
Yep.
Everybody loves it.
Everyone loves it. Everyone can eat it. Mm-hmm. It's vegetarian,
blooming onion.
Right?
Yeah.
Guys, I think we're solving a lot of problems here. Nicholas Vilpu writes, try and find American sushi in Japan. Also true.
Well, it exists nowadays. Yeah. It does because we're just aware of it. But it used to be very hard to find. Yeah, like your typical sushi restaurant is not serving 99% of what you see at an American or North American sushi restaurant. I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoy those creative roles.
I remember discovering sushi restaurants in America. I was the first one that I used to go all the time that was close to me was owned by Thai people. It was Thai, everybody who worked there were Thai. And they were making crazy rolls, and it was great. Yeah, I loved it.
There you go. Hey, California rolls for the win. Everyone loves a California roll.
California rolls I can live without. I like all this crazy rolls.
Yeah, I do. The crazier ones are better.
Dragon rolls.
Yeah, dragon roll. If I remember correctly, the place in Canada that made up the Hawaiian pizza actually stopped selling them. Well, why? I don't know. They made the wrong move. Fun pizza story for Risa and I. One time, last live stream we were talking about drives from Montreal to Toronto, stopping off at the Big Apple in Cobourg, Ontario, on the way. Cobourg, right after Kingston, before you get to Oshawa.
The name of the town.
Cobourg, Ontario. They should just rename it to the Big Apple town. But on our way to in between Montreal and Kingston, which is the halfway point of Montreal and Toronto. So Kingston's a big rest stop area. It's a big town. They got a jail and everything. Oddly, they're known for their jail. There's Napanee, Ontario, and Napanee, Ontario, is the birthplace and original home of Canada's other queen, Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne is from a small town, very small town called Napanee, Ontario. And I remember I had read once that there was a pizza restaurant that she said it was her favorite. And we were driving, and I'm like, we got to go to this pizza restaurant. So we did. We veered off the highway. We just took a hard turn, drove right off the highway, landed in Napanee, and found the pizza restaurant. And it was a semi-shrine to Avril Lavigne, I have to say.
It was a full-on shrine to Avril Lavigne.
We were, it was a small place, maybe like 4 or 5 tables. And the guy had all kinds of plaques and stuff signed by Avril. And he told us that, they used to come by a lot.
She has a seat.
She has her seat. And he was like, do you want to sit in her seat? And I'm like, no. I should have sat in the seat. I didn't sit in it, but
I tried sitting in it, but I didn't eat sitting in her seat. Yeah.
And it was her seat because she had signed the back of the chair. This is Avril's seat, and so we went there and we enjoyed some pineapple pizza.
I don't remember anything about that pizza.
It was all right. It was a little thick.
It wasn't like the best pizza or the worst pizza.
Yeah, it was acceptable. Yeah. But it made it all that better knowing that the princess of Canada, the princess of pop punk. Is there another term for that? Whatever it is.
Punk rock.
Pop punk. Yeah. The Queen. She ate there, and we were by doing so we were in her royal presence. Mm-hmm. Felt great. I think it was called Dad's Pizza. I'm sure you can Google it. Pizza restaurant, Napanee, Ontario, Avril Lavigne. I'm sure it'll come up. And hopefully it never closes down. It's been a long time since we've been there. Mm-hmm. What can I say? Now she needs to be the Canadian on the dollar bill. Jap27 writes. We have loonies, not dollar bills. Loonies is a word in our country, in our language. Celine should be on the money.
Loonies called because there's
a bird on it.
Yeah. They're called loon.
A loon.
But what's on the other side?
Of the loonie? Yeah. Is the Queen's head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So I would replace that with Celine. Mm-hmm. The many ages of Celine. You know, that's how our money should be. Like the loonie is maybe like young Celine, 16-year-old Celine, and then we just work our way up, right? Until mature, the Queen Celine.
No, I think we gotta give other people a try.
Yeah, they can be on some other monies.
Yeah.
Maybe, Avril in the passport somewhere. You know, in the Canadian passport, on each page, there's kind of like a Canadian thing.
Mm-hmm. Which I like. Yeah. I kind of like that about the Canadian passport.
Right. And so Joey Decay acknowledges our dollar is called a loonie, and our $2 are called the Toonies because we're Canadian. I also, toonie. It's a funny word. I remember when the $2 coin came out, we weren't sure what to call it. So I remember in the newspapers and in the news, what do we call this thing? And like there was a bunch of names being thrown around, and just toonie kind of hung around. That's what people used.
It's a good name.
I remember getting my first one, and I remember when they first came out. I guess there were some complaints here and there that like the middle part would pop out.
Really?
Yeah. Let me see if I got a toonie to show everybody.
Do you have strong enough glue? But yeah, I do like coins that have two-toned, like two different like parts. It feels like you put more effort into it, therefore it's valued more.
Oh, look at this bad boy. So this is they don't use these anymore, but a 1983 Canadian silver dollar. It probably has some real silver in it. Maybe not. This is from 1983, and it is not very rusty. So, probably not. This is the current dollar. You want to buy almost nothing in our country these days.
That's a loon.
So it's got a little bird on there, yeah. The loon. It's been this design forever. And then... Oh, this is not a proper toonie. This is some kind of commemorative toonie. But usually there's a polar bear in the middle there. But it looks like we have some kind of victory design there. And then, so, yeah, you got the two-tone, and then that middle part would pop out in the original ones. And then you got the queen over there. Look at her. And then here's the young queen from many, many years ago. So she's always been on our money for as long as I can remember. Yeah. This seems to be a similar portrait, but I think they might have updated this. This is from, 1988. So,
wow.
Yeah, another, hold that one up.
Another vintage.
Yeah, so it's the same image on both of those, if it shows up properly. It probably doesn't.
It's hard.
It's hard to see. Anyways, there's some Canadian...
And Canadian loonies are not like a perfect round.
No, they have like these
like
edges.
Yeah.
Okay, well, some more
Canadian history lesson.
We're from Canada. Naked and Famous is, so you're gonna get a little Canadian knowledge dropped on you every now and then. Okay. Apo Clater writes, might be a little late for denim questions. Never too late, my friend. But out of curiosity, why does the Emperor of Slub Super Guy have such a tiny front rise compared to the other Super Guys? I mean, it's generally not planned in that way. Unsanforized denim is sometimes has a mind of its own, and it may have shrunk a little bit more than typical Super Guys. That's just the way it goes with unsanforized denim. Sometimes things shrink weirdly.
Yeah.
Yeah, or differently. It's just the way it goes. Lee Shangstyle writes, wow, those coins look pretty cool. What can you buy with $1 Canadian? McDonald's ice cream soft serves? I don't think $1 gets you that anymore.
Yeah, the inflation has hit hard. There is a thing, I mean, a dollar store you can buy like a little bags of chips.
Yeah, you could probably buy a bag of chips at Dollarama. Dollarama is it is a big Canadian company. I'm going to go with one of the biggest, and it's just a chain of dollar stores, and they're everywhere. And the
dollar store is Dollarama. Like, there's
no competition.
Store. Yeah.
When I was a kid, there used to be a variety of dollar stores, and it was like a mom and pop kind of business. Not anymore. Dollarama is 100% of the dollar store market in the country. Even other dollar stores that might exist buy their inventory from Dollarama and sell it in their store. But they have some products there. Terrence is in the house.
Nice.
He's got maybe he can give us a little idea. What can you get for $1 in Canada these days? What does $1 get you? I don't know. Not much. Not much anymore.
Really, not much.
This was powerful.
Yeah, you can't even buy a can of soda for $1, can you?
Yeah, maybe at a good deal. Our dollar stores are $1.25 now, Dollar Tree. Yeah, like at Dollarama, I know we're all the best denim talk here. They have products ranging from $1. It used to be like 2 for $1. For most items in the store were either like 2 for $1 or $1. Then they went up to they would have some $2 items, but I think they have up to like $5 items now. So it's like an under $5 store. Like, I guess they don't really claim to be a dollar store anymore, as they are Dollarama. All the Ramas you can buy for $1 for dollars. Okay. Juan Puedo, any chance of denim vests? No, but we can turn any jean jacket into a vest for you. If you don't want to do it yourself, just put it in your order comments, and we will cut those sleeves right off for you. And we can turn that into a vest. So, yeah, it's like denim shorts. Like, we're not going to make denim shorts, but we can turn any pair of jeans into shorts if you just order the inseam short enough, or if you're brave enough for the Bahzad Special. Now, the Bahzad Special is only reserved for the most dedicated raw denim fans out there. And if you don't know what the Bahzad Special is,
you can't afford it.
You can't afford it. If you have to ask, you can't afford it. So you just
By
have
the
to
way,
know.
it's a free service.
Yeah.
It's not.
But
turning any jeans into Bahzad Special is a free service,
Yeah.
but it's going to come.
It comes at a price.
Yeah.
It comes at a very steep price, and you have to be prepared to pay that price. So that's the Bahzad Special. Only the most dedicated. And something else. I'm trying to think of something. No more words, but you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Shout outs to Vinny. BD, need to see the Bahzad Special in jacket form. Just buttons, just buttons and seams. What would the Bahzad Special be in denim jacket form?
We should leave the structure, the
It's all the seams.
Yeah,
it's just
seams,
all.
but it's all the
Everything
panels are removed,
Yeah.
so you can see basically through.
Yeah, you get a show.
Everything.
You're gonna get a show, definitely. David Dixon, is that jeans hot pants? They're not just hot, my friend. Hot doesn't even begin to explain how fiery they are.
Flaming
Yeah.
hot.
That's right. Can you talk about the process? Chris Karras writes, can you talk about the process of sourcing Aizome fabric? Well, the sourcing of the fabric comes through our mills. So our mills are, we work with them consistently all the time. It's just a matter of how often the yarns come up. So yarns are few and far between, and there are companies all over Japan that are requiring, hand-dyed indigo yarns for whatever it is that they're producing, whether it's kimonos or, beautiful scarves or whatnot. So only a small amount of it ever comes up for, well, this is suitable for denim production. So usually it's a case of the mill will say, hey, we have some available, or some will be available to us. Do you want it? And if we do, they let us know how much they can get, and then whatever they can get is whatever we can make. So it's not a matter of us saying, well, we'd like to order enough for 500 pairs, because it's not something that can just happen like that, right? And even the people who are dyeing the yarns, they'll say, okay, well, if you want that, the wait list is going to be 2 years. We're booked, we're full, we have work to do every single day, and because we can only make so much of it, this is it's not a fast process at all. So it's like what Risa does chain stitching for Wonder Looper stuff, and sometimes we'll get a retail partner and they say, hey, can you do chain stitching, maybe something custom for their store, and we have to charge you. And it's not other business. There's many businesses. When you do wholesale, you buy more, you get a discount, right? You get a discount. That's just how it works. But when you're doing handmade stuff, making more doesn't make it any less difficult, right? There's not a production line type of thing. You
don't save any time.
Right.
Also,
right. So it to them, whether they're making for us or for somebody else, or they're making as much as they can possibly make, and that's it. So it really just comes down to when the mill has yarn available, they're gonna shop it around. They're gonna say, hey, Naked and Famous, do you want this? And we're gonna say yes every single time. But there might be brands that they might have approached before us. I'm pretty sure we're number one on their list, of course.
But I'm pretty sure they rotate so that they're serving brands, I mean, it's like any good, people who are selling stuff.
Right.
They want you to feel special, so they'll offer you special things every now and then, but not all the time, because that you're not the only customer that matters.
Right. Speaking of that, everyone's been doing their Black Friday shopping, and I wouldn't say this is Black Friday shopping, but Risa and I tried to buy a car the other day. We don't own a car. We've never owned a car.
We rent cars.
Yeah.
But it's kind of getting annoying to the point where I can't book these community cars for the weekends unless you plan it way ahead of time. And that's just kind of annoying.
Yeah. So Toyota is coming out with a limited edition Land Cruiser. I don't know how limited it is.
They didn't announce it as a limited edition, but they don't make these Land Cruisers anymore. So every now and then, like the last time they did was like 2014, 15.
Yeah. So Land Cruiser 70. So it's like a old school Land Cruiser, very boxy. Comes with nothing. No AC, no radio. Like comes with zero. And basically, there's just a giant line for them, and they're making like 12 a month or something like that. So, yeah,
we want it. We want it. We'll see what happens.
We put our name on the list. Hopefully, we can get it. If not, we know our Cybertruck is going to come. Eventually, we put that $150 down on the first day.
2019. Yeah. That's when we put our money in.
Yeah. Yeah. Mouse writes, no AC. No, AC is an option.
Yeah, you can put AC, but it's not like an automated like AC. Like you have to move the gauge. It's like
hold on, I gotta show you this thing. It's awesome, by the way. Let's find some pictures of it. Is that I gotta find.
Another thing I learned about this car that like, so I found a video of like basically the project manager, like people who are involved in making design decisions of this car. They were like being interviewed, and it's every time like you kind of actually talk to people who made these decisions, it's just so interesting. And I think this is the reason why people tune into like this live stream too. Like it's just interesting to learn from the maker themselves.
Nerds. Yeah. Check this out. So it's this guy, and like this is exactly the color we want in sand, and it's just boxy and looks like it came out of the 80s, and even down to the exterior looks nice and rough, but even down to the interior, like this is straight out of like 1988 Toyota. Like it looks great. I love it. Physical gauges. Is there more pictures to it? View gallery. Yeah, it's a handsome vehicle, and hopefully we can get this thing. But
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. We can take it into the desert.
Yeah, what I like about this car is that it's like all the things that I can live without, like the old school details are there, but they're also equipped with the newer things, like I don't want to have to turn on the headlight every time it gets dark. I want I want the car to do it. And because these regulations are in place now, so like a lot of things that you have to do it for the safety reasons, and all these like things that makes our lives easier driving a car is there, but it's also very bare minimum.
This model also won't come out in North America. And we can drive it underwater, as you can see here. And the best part, I don't have a driver's license. I don't even know how to drive a car. Lee Shangshot, are you planning on getting a driver's license in Japan? I don't think I'd pass. It's very hard to pass the driver's test here.
Well, I wouldn't say that, but it's like, if you're, they do make you like go through a lot of things, and if you don't speak the language, especially, I think it's a lot harder.
Yeah.
Not that you need language to drive a car,
right?
But, yeah,
it's okay. I've gotten this far without a license. Yeah, that's it. Vance Edward writes, seems like you would love the new Bronco 4-door look. Oh yeah, the new Bronco looks sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like.
It's
I like
the same.
Yeah. Same spirit.
Yeah.
Okay. Juan Puedo writes about the denim vest. He said they asked and they didn't do it.
No.
Tell him Bahzad sent you.
Yeah. Oh, we're gonna talk about that in the meeting.
We definitely can do it. It's not hard. Yeah, it's not hard.
To be fair, you can do it yourself for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Faux Nem writes, for the Raised by Wolves campaign, do you know what size they are wearing? I do not know. I'm presuming they're wearing a size large. There was one guy that was bigger than the other guy.
Yeah.
One of the guys I'm going to say is most definitely wearing a size large.
Yeah, but the short coats do run.
They run
big.
a little big because they're meant for layering. But if you are a bigger guy, they definitely fit you really well. Let me see. I wear a medium. I'm 5'8", 170 pounds.
Yeah.
40 chest. So I'm wearing a size medium comfortably.
Like very comfortably.
Yeah. Like it's not small, but I can also layer.
Yeah.
And I wear short coats every time I leave the house. I wear a short coat. Okay, I'm just trying to look up that Raised by Wolves campaign, so people might be reminded. Yeah, I think that guy.
Oh, it's a large.
Yeah, I feel like that guy's wearing a large. The other guy's maybe a medium.
medium.
Yeah, he looks a little bit meatier up top. Yeah. Meatier. A bigger gentleman. Okay. Mignon Maxine writes, regarding tattoos, metal, grunge subcultures with their radical content being depoliticized or diluted to fit within the mainstream capitalistic framework is a concept from the Frankfurt School. Okay. Well, I don't know much about that, but thank you for introducing us to that. But I do find, I don't know if this is in general, things that were once rough somehow within 10 or 15 years find themselves in like mainstream and normal. Right? Think of all the 80s rappers that you thought were actual like gangster and killers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and then they're all in kids movies now.
Yeah.
Like and it's not even
some
just
of them
not
were
even just
actual
now.
gangsters
Right.
that became a celebrity
Right.
and have
Right. Like I think of that one. And then another one that I like to if you guys have ever seen Pink Flamingos. Hold on, I gotta get this one.
I'm talking about the same thing.
I love this movie.
I feel like you talked about this in the last live stream.
Oh really?
I think so. You might not have brought it up.
Oh.
I mean, the inspiration can come from anywhere. I think that is more of a good example of like inspiration coming from like unexpected, very unrelated field.
Should probably open this. I have my copy's still unopened. But Pink Flamingos, a John Waters movie, very very funny movie. An awful movie, if you might say, was once a very controversial film, starring the lead character Divine, who was the nastiest woman in the world, and then this character was used to base 10 years later was used to be based on like Ursula from The Little Mermaid. So it went from like this is just a nasty bad we should watch this movie to let's make kids content with this character.
But like I said, I think this is more of like an inspiration coming from a different place, not like that. It's not the same as like the ex-gangster now and children's movie.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess so. That is definitely way more direct. This one's a lot more indirect.
Yeah.
That's sure. E writes, can we get a John Waters capsule collection? I would love to do a John Waters. It would. I don't know if we could do it based on the movies, but if we were to, just with his creativity, if I could work, that would be a fun one.
That would be a hard one to like,
Yeah.
Like, because you're not taking a specific.
I would love to put Divine on the leather patch. Mm-hmm. That would be amazing.
We could probably just get like the leather patch made and offer it as leather patch options.
That would be so cool. Divine.
Although I mean, jeans could be
something.
I think it's easier to like base off of a singular character.
Right. There was also the episode of John Waters on The Simpsons. You guys remember that one? Very funny episode. Good episode. Homer thought Bart was gay, and he was trying to teach him how to be straight.
Yeah,
and that was a good one.
We watched it. Yeah.
I love the metal factory scene. It's like very, very good episode. But yeah, John Waters, a legend, very funny man. Okay, people are talking about Raver Guy. Raver Guy. Yeah, I don't. Will we ever bring that back? I don't know. If you know what, we do have more production room these days. I would open up. Don't quote me on this, but I would open up if people really wanted it, which I guess we would tell by doing a pre-order. We could probably do a Raver Guy via a pre-order type situation, and then just make them. We have the pattern. We've made it, so it's not like we have to develop something from scratch. Mouse writes, "What is a Raver Guy?" Oh, you don't know about Raver Guy? Hold on, let me introduce you to the wonderful, wild world of Raver Guy. One of the best jeans we've ever made. And you know what? When we did have them, we put it up on like for April Fools. It wasn't an April Fool. We actually made them. So we had some people order them, and we made them and we shipped them. So there are a couple of Raver Guys out in the world. So you can see they have something like a 50-inch leg opening, super wide, giant, like kind of, I mean, I would even go as far as to say like extreme bell bottom kind of jean. But yeah, these are the kind of jeans, if you were a raver in the 90s, this is what you wore. I definitely had jeans like this. I wore them to school. I wore them with my Adidas shell toes and a Nike visor. I don't know why. I had a visor.
Visor was a thing.
Visor was a thing. I thought it was a long skirt. Mo says no. There's also probably a YouTube video on it. Let me see if I can find it. Naked and Famous Denim. Raver Guy. We did make it. Oh yeah, here it is. Let's go over to the. Let me just click on it. Boom. There you go. You know this guy. Hold on. Let me put on the desktop audio so you can hear it. The Raver Guy. The Raver Guy has the same top block as the Easy Guy, but from the thigh down, you get an extreme reverse taper to an ultra-wide.
I don't think he was not in the rave scene, so I don't think
that's the widest leg opening of any Japanese sandwich denim jean ever made. Now, if you're anything like me, and you grew up in the 90s raver scene, then this is definitely a throwback for you. This is a fit you haven't seen probably in a good 20 years. Maybe for good reason, maybe for not a good reason. Who knows? We're just going to have a lot of fun and put them out today. You might be thinking to yourself, hey, is this an April Fool's Day joke? This is not an April Fool's Day joke. These will be available for pre-order on tateandyoko.com
so there you go, guys.
and nakedfamousdenim.nyc.com. This will be your only opportunity to get a just made and an ultra-wide raver fit with a 50-inch leg opening. Roll up that ultra-wide cup and relive your raver glory days with the Raver Guy. Get them today. Pre-order them now.
What more can you ask for? The Raver Guy. It was a real thing. And yeah, if there's enough people who want that, we could do it.
I wonder. We might get like...
What's going on here? Oh, that's This Week at Tate and Yoko, just auto-playing. There we go. Okay, so there you have it, everybody.
It will have to be very expensive, though, because the amount of fabric you use for that jean.
It's a lot of fabric. Yeah. Jeremy Didson, need that pre-order ASAP. All right. We'll let you know. James Dant writes, if you tell me you had frosted tips poking out of the top of your visor, I'm gonna die. I did not. I definitely would have wanted to. My mom would never let me get my hair dyed. Me having long hair was already bad enough. Sometimes I would have like this like spray-on color, and I'd like spray red or some stupid thing in my hair. But I used to use, so I had like probably hair down to here, and of course I had it split down the center, visor on top, hair split down the side. Or what I would do, I would use this product called Spiker Ice, and it was hair glue, and I would spike my hair.
With that length?
Yeah, maybe not the full length, but like, or what I would do is I would spike it down in the front, and then I would spike it up in the back. I looked like a real idiot. Yeah, I looked like a real dummy. Oh yeah, the down spikes. I would do the down spikes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they were. Yeah. That didn't last that long. Anyways, that was me at the end of high school. I had gone through several phases. At one point, I thought I was a goth.
You thought you were?
Yeah, I hung out with my friends, and we all had all black and wide black jeans and black boots and trench coats and all black. And then the thing about that look was it didn't take much change to get into a raver style, because you were kind of wearing all this loose and long and you had jingly shit all over you. You know what I mean? Like when you're wearing all black, you had like a belt chain or you just changed that up for some beads. So by the end of high school, I was more of a candy raver than I was a goth kid. But yeah,
quite a difference.
I definitely had some changes. It was not appreciated in my high school, I'll tell you that much. I was unquestionably the school freak. There's no question about that.
Interesting.
Yeah, definitely the school freak. I was known to be the school freak. I
like it. That's like expression, like you're exploring your personality by dressing differently from everybody else.
Me and my friends, who I didn't have too many friends in my high school, they went to other schools, so we would be around the neighborhood, and people would be like they'd always be like, who are those? I'm like, who are those people? I'm like, don't worry about it. And our aim was we were always like, oh, what can we wear to freak people out? And that was the whole thing. We just wanted to stand out.
In our school, individuality was suppressed.
Right.
Big time. You were not allowed to make anything yourself. You have to look like everybody else.
Right. I've heard even in some Japanese schools, even if your hair color is not black, they'll make you change your hair color black.
Well, it was because naturally everybody, especially back in the days, you didn't have people who had lighter colored hair. But I mean, obviously, it's just like any historical times, there are people who are naturally lighter, even if they're fully Japanese, they have less what do you call it, less
melanin?
Is it melanin in their hair?
Maybe.
Anyways, lighter brown hair. Especially my mom, she naturally, I think her hair is naturally a little bit less black, but she also was swimming a lot in
right.
Back in the days also pools with chlorines are insane. So her hair was very brown, and she went to the same school I went to, but the teachers were you have to dye it black. It's no, I don't. That's just one of those things where if you're slightly different from anybody else,
you get hammered down.
Yeah.
Nicholas Philp, who writes, my son is in Japanese elementary school and he's got blue hair. It seems like they aren't as strict these days. All right.
Blue hair in elementary school?
See, this is how times change.
I guess so.
This is how times change.
That is not a thing.
Jab27 writes, every Mexican kid has went through the spiky hair phase using Moco du Gorilla. All right.
All right.
I feel you, my friend. I feel you. James Ant, weird kids rule the world. Right. Okay. Vance Edwards, these rare snacks mystery boxes that we are all seeing on the social media sites the last month or two seem fitting that you two should absolutely buy one for snack time if you haven't. Oh, those Japanese snack boxes?
Oh.
Yeah. I've seen them, and they're interesting if you're getting them imported, but as far as the cost of those boxes are concerned, they're quite pricey in comparison to just being able to buy the snacks at the store yourself. Okay. Guys, we're going to get into snack time because I realized we're 2 hours and 30 minutes into this live stream. It's the longest live stream ever. Yeah, let's do those ones. we've got some special chips that we picked up yesterday just to try out. I know that these are not going to be my favorite chips, but I thought it would make for some interesting content nonetheless, because Risa is going to love these chips.
Oh, 100%. 100%. This is up my alley. So, Koikea Strong Chip Series. So, it's like chips that have a strong flavor.
Mm-hmm.
You put on the strip, the powder a lot. This is called mala chicken flavor. So, it's the like Chinese
Numbing spice.
Yeah.
I don't like this spice.
I love this spice.
Yeah.
I put like mala sauce on everything now. Like I just can't have enough of it. So I don't know why you don't like this spice.
I don't know.
But
it's not my favorite.
It's supposed to be spicy Chinese numbing spice taste.
Let's do it. All right. Oh, you know what we all haven't done in this live stream at all yet in the whole 2 hours and 33 minutes of it?
Yes.
Hit the like button, guys. If you haven't hit the like button yet, what you waiting for? Nothing.
Nothing.
Just do it. Hit the like button, become a liker of this video, and we'll appreciate it forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever and ever and ever and a day. So, David Dixon writes, Szechuan pepper.
I guess so. I don't really know. I don't know too much about Chinese, different Chinese cuisines, but it's the numbing spice, the spice that's not the same as the red pepper.
Yeah. Jameson Kidding also writes, BD has been throwing up the sirens consistently. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But
BD,
my vision missed it a lot of the time this live stream.
Without
my
BD,
apologies.
we wouldn't have any likes, honestly.
That is, BD is the producer.
Yeah.
He makes it happen. Okay. Like for Queen Celine. That's it. Throw up a like for the Queen of Canada, Celine Dion. Let's hit it. This is the mala spice. It is a...
It doesn't look so spicy.
No, the
it
chip
looks
is
like
nice and thick.
regular.
And you know what? I also have to shout out, like, look at the consistency of all the chips in there. They're all... There's no cracked or broken chips in there. That is a quality packing job they did. They're all full shape.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right. So good size. Smells like it. Smells like that numbing spice.
That little tangy smell too. It's not spicy at all.
Not at all.
But it does have that taste. That
You
like,
get it
that,
right at the start, and then it dissipates fast. Mm-hmm. It doesn't stick around. I thought it would taste like a salty chip at first, and then the spice would kick back. But actually, spice level on a 1 to 10 is like 1. Yeah. So not spicy at all.
I forgot to add the spice. But it does have the mala flavor. I think maybe that's the whole point. It's not spicy.
Which is what makes it better. Because for me, the numbing spice, it just sticks around for so long that I just feel like I'm not enjoying it as I'm trying to like fight my way through it. Whereas this, it's got like that, spicy flavor, but it doesn't stick.
You like the taste of
The taste is good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
The taste is good. So I was expecting myself to not like this at all. And I'm going to this is acceptable. It's not my favorite chip. This is not not a 7 to me. This is not in the 7 realm. This is a 6.4 on the scale. Fine. If they were around, I'll have a couple. I'm not buying this myself for personal enjoyment, but they're here. They're fine.
I think this is like a 7.5, 7.4. I like this flavor. If it's spicier, it would get close to 8, like high 7s. But because it doesn't have the spice, it just has the taste. I like the taste, but the spice has to come with it.
Right. The spice, yeah. I would say that if you were expecting spice from this, you ain't getting it. So it's disappointing in that realm. But nevertheless, a fine, acceptable chip. It's not in gross or like these are bad territory. Okay, well there you have it. Let's answer a couple more questions and then we'll wrap up this live stream here. Vance Edwards writes, it was 60% air, just like in the U.S. Yeah, there's a lot of air, but I think that's
you have to keep the air so that the chips don't break.
That's it. Mouse writes, I ended up buying an Elephant 12 and an Easy Guy fit today. Great choice. You'll enjoy them very much throughout the rest of this cold fall-winter season. We're basically into winter now. Fall's done.
This is the best time of the year, by the way. The time that's leading up
to Christmas. Yeah. Then after New Year's, it's all... You're just I want this to be done.
I saw a meme or whatever, like, I don't know how you call it. Is it a meme? I don't know. Like a funny thing on somebody's feed today that said, like, October, November, December feels like Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the week.
Yeah.
So basically, January is Monday. Yeah. February is Tuesday. Like those dreading days.
You're 100% right about that.
That's so true.
Alexander Pierce writes, we need more colored selvage in general. Forest green and red, maybe a dark purple or teal would be dope. You're gonna see more color selvage options from us. I'm focusing a little bit more on those lately.
Indigo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll see. Colored core jackets in the future. I want my purple cores on my arms instead of my legs. Well, James and Kidding, we will do a color elephant core denim next fall. So with that said, I'm going to maybe not after Black Friday, after all we're done packing up all this stuff and whatever, I think I'll release the spring summer 23 preview video in the next little while. So you can get a full rundown. Also, for those people who know and noticed, I'm using the word rundown more in communications. I'm just going to start using it. I like it.
What the hell is a rundown?
I don't know. Do you want to give me a rundown on that? So you will get the full rundown of the spring summer 24 collection soon.
Yeah.
So watch out for that video. Monday we don't have anything scheduled as far as video-wise. Wednesday you'll see This Week at Tate and Yoko, and then next Friday we'll be back again for the Naked Famous Denim live stream, broadcasting right here from Yokohama, Japan, from our home to your home. We hope you have a good one. We hope you have a nice Thanksgiving. Have a lot of food. If you're not celebrating Thanksgiving, well, I'm glad you spent your time with us. Spend some time with your family. Do something nice for yourself. Do something nice for somebody else. Enjoy the rest of the Black Friday sale. We hope you get something, and if you don't, that's okay too. Tell a friend or watch this entire live stream all over again because it's almost as long as Lord of the Rings.
What?
It's almost 3 hours long, this live stream.
Wow.
Our longest live stream ever. We'll see you guys again. Thanks for everybody to tune in who watched us from the start to the end, or even if you're just joining us right now. We appreciate you, and we'll see you guys next time. I'm Bahzad.
I'm Risa.
And we'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.